You ready?
I'm ready.
This is your spiritual podcast station, bringing you the uncut, unblocked, and unscripted. This is the only place in the podcast universe giving you a balanced approach and a look at the other side. Everything from A to Z. We are live right now in the 1831 studio. My name is Natia Moore.
And I'm Anthony Fliggins.
And this is Pastor Anthony Said. Welcome, everyone, to this episode of Pastor Anthony Said. We are live. Come on in.
Live in effect.
Live in full effect.
Yes.
Make sure you join us on all social media right now. Pastor Anthony Said on Facebook.
Pastor Anthony Said. Y'all go right over there today. We're only gonna be here about 5 minutes, and everybody, I'm shutting this down. We're gonna be live on our personal on our podcast page.
Yes.
Pastor Anthony Said.
And we'll tag it to your page so they can find it. If they don't already, I'm sure they already are following it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and share it on my page now as well. Come on in the room. If you're coming in, go ahead and tell us where are you? Where are you in Baltimore? Or are you what state? What country? Where are you? Because it's global now, right?
Yes, so, you out there.
Where are you?
Let us know.
Let us know where you are.
Let us know.
Share. How you doing today?
I cannot complain. It's warm. We in Baltimore, Mid-Atlantic. A whole lot of heat and humidity. So, make the best of it, right?
Yeah.
You know, for certain people, we used to maybe I think it was a couple of years ago. We used to have service and we used to have celery water. That's right, celery water. So if you place a piece of celery inside of your water, it will cool your body temperature down 10 degrees.
Yes.
Everybody got it. Celery in your water cools the body temperature down 10 degrees. So y'all make sure y'all doing that. Put a piece of celery inside of your water. You got bottled water, piece of celery inside your water, and celery cools the body temperature down about 10 degrees. And so y'all make sure y'all do that. It works. And we did it for a couple of years. So I think this is, my guys start doing it again. You may have to reinstitute that.
It was tasty too. It wasn't bad and tasty either, yeah.
So we can move forward and so the Lord could have his way in our lives and we can, manage what we're dealing with a little bit better. Yeah. That's that.
I think when we all start drinking it, we were very surprised that it really cools you down.
It works. It works. It works.
It really works.
It works.
Yeah, we did it for a minute. We got to bring that back because it's beyond warm. It's not just warm.
Yeah, it's beyond that now. Yeah.
We're somewhere else with the temperature.
Yep.
It reminds me of like a Las Vegas heat. Almost feels like you're in front of a fireplace.
That's how I feel in Las Vegas.
Yes. You really don't. I mean, at least from my experience, I didn't sweat there, but it just felt like constant heat was just like you were in front of a blazing fire. Right. It just feels like a warmth of heat all around you, not necessarily like a sweating. And the humidity is not very high, but it's just hot.
Yeah. Welcome to the summer. So
this ain't no normal summer to me.
Really ain't?
What?
I think this is a regular Baltimore Mid-Atlantic summer.
I don't think so. I mean, I've heard them say that the heat index, like it feels like it's like 105, 10. I don't recall 105 heat indexes. Like I remember, like we normally like kind of get to 100, and it's kind of like at least it seems like that's our baseline, like for the summer, no more than 100, and like one day of 100,
but not multiple days.
Like 2 weeks.
Okay.
Would you agree, or you think that's not?
Because I was, I'm in construction, so I'm outside.
It probably feel like 100, but like, was it really 100?
No. So when you're outside, people that work outside usually pay attention to the temperature. I'm like, that's part of our job. What's the weather going to be tomorrow? Because that determines how we're going to work.
How the day is going to go.
So it was like a part. So if you're in construction or a carpenter, anything that deals with outside work, working outside in the elements, the weatherman is part. And the weather lady. Yeah, and that's part of your dynamic. You pay attention to that stuff. And so when you have those weeks that was real hot and stuff. So I remember working in D.C. and stuff. I remember like 110 degrees because I remember when the boss would say, I remember when my foreman would say, stay hydrated, lemonade. Yeah. If you got to go to the bathroom, go. You know what I'm saying? Don't over. So I remember that. I remember him saying it's going to be 105
Right.
It's gonna feel like 110.
Yeah.
It's gonna feel like 120, but we still got to work.
Right. Right.
You know, and I also remember older people telling us wear long sleeves.
Oh.
I remember that. Yeah. Wear long. I'm like, that don't make sense to wear long sleeves in the summer. They said wear. They tell me wear long sleeves. I said, all right.
Deserts, yeah. I guess that makes sense.
Going live on my page, y'all. Peace. Celery water. Y'all got it. All right. Pastor Anthony said.
Listen, make sure that if you are listening right now that you are also following us on Facebook and Instagram under Pastor Anthony Said. Make sure you like, share, and comment and subscribe. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't remember it consecutively being like this high, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I've accepted whatever it is, but and then I'm indoors mostly for when I'm working. But I just do not remember it being consecutively this hot. It's so hot that like when you driving your car, like with the air on, you still feel like
feel it. Yes.
Like it's not it's cool, but it's not.
Yes.
It's not 100% cool.
Yes,
like it's like just cool.
Yes.
Yeah, that's concerning. But yeah, here we are. It's the summer. Come on now, summertime.
Oh my God.
Yes.
So it is what it is.
It is exactly what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Okay, so you said that you have a lot of things to get off your chest?
No. I'm just saying things to talk about now. I didn't say get off my chest. To discuss. I used the word discuss.
It is a difference, right?
Yeah.
That sound a little aggressive.
Yeah. No, it sounds like when you say things get off your chest, it sounds like you got to vent.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I don't have to vent.
A little aggressive. I think venting can seem aggressive sometimes.
Yeah, it can. But no, I don't have to vent.
Okay.
Yeah. But what's going on in your world?
Really just working, planning and coordinating and doing all kinds of things. I'm not really gonna talk about the details too much, but a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Okay.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Gotcha.
Yep. Resetting, getting ready for vacation. In a week or so.
Okay.
So just preparing for that. Packed, ready to.
Are you ready to go, huh?
Go. Yes.
Okay.
It's just a little break, going away for my daughter's birthday.
All right.
July 19th, Chloe. So we're going to go away and celebrate her birthday.
It's her birthday. When is her birthday?
It's July 19th.
19th. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
July the 19th.
Got it.
A lot of July birthdays.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what's going on in my world.
Okay.
That's what's going on in my world. What do you have rolling out? What's going on?
Well, right now, I'll make sure I'm good. Right now, right now I'm working. I'm always working, right? So it's like there's always now. I'm moving and I'm planning for. I'm taking over my father's church, but not really taking it over. But we are building and getting ready to get that off the ground. Mm-hmm. I pretty much I'm doing the best I can to keep his vision alive and what he wanted to do, but then have the understanding and have the wherewithal to know that what was will no longer be. And how do I move forward by keeping things from my past and my history intact? And so those are the things I'm working on doing. So we are building it, and I'm learning. So certain things I'm doing to the building, like AKA I'm putting a mural on the wall. Now the mural I'm putting on the wall is on the outside of the wall of one of his buildings. Okay. The mural, we are working on what to put on the mural. Okay. His Bishop Romeo Owens. Mm-hmm. Had two scriptures. Okay. I think it was Matthew 18:1, I believe, and I believe it's Acts 3:19 was his two favorite scriptures. Okay. And both him and my father were known for playing the washboard. That's right. In church back in the day, they made instruments, and they made instruments. That's right. They made their music, and when they didn't have all the accoutrements of the music and everything else, they hand clap, foot stomp, tambourines, and of course washboards. And so we had 3 or 4 of them in church. So it wasn't like no one person playing the washboard. When I grew up, it was 3 or 4 people playing the washboard. Wow. It was my father, Bishop Owens, and maybe somebody else in church had one. All of them played a different way. Different style, you know what I'm saying? It was an aggressive form. It was the I guess the chattering of the sound or the sound of glass. It was something like glass, you know what I'm saying? And you're rubbing a stick against something. Well, we had a glass washboard.
Oh, I've never seen
that.
My
father had that's right. My father.
I had to Google that.
My father had a glass washboard.
Wow.
Yep, it was glass.
I got to Google it.
Yeah, we got to get one in here.
Yeah.
My father had a glass washboard. And so my father had a washboard for the road, one for the church, one for his house. Yeah, he had one. Yeah, my father would do that. And so, Yeah, a glass washboard.
Wow.
You see it? You see it? Yep.
Wow.
And so what we're going to do is, what's Matthew 18:1? I go to Matthew 18:1, see what that
I'm
says.
there. When he had come down from the mountain.
Matthew, go ahead. What it says?
Oh, wait, that's Matthew 8:1.
Matthew 18:1. I want to make sure I'm right.
Matthew 18:1. At that time, the disciples came to Jesus, saying,
came the disciples unto Jesus, saying, "Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?" Jesus called a little child unto him and set him in the midst of them and said, "Verily, verily, I say unto you, unless you humble yourself as this little child." All right, we got it, right?
That's it.
That's it. Beautiful. That was Bishop Romeo Owens' favorite scripture. And then another one was Acts 3:19. Repent ye therefore and be converted, that your sins be blotted out. When time of refreshing comes, it comes from the presence of the Lord. So it was those two scriptures. So what we're going to do is, we're going to have a washboard, and somehow we're going to put those scriptures on the washboard and put the washboard as a mural. And
That's
you
beautiful.
get what I'm saying? So it has that dual effect. So I'm trying my best to keep yesterday and present tomorrow.
Nice.
And you know,
Balance. That's a good balance.
even when I am decorating, you know, I'm okay. I'm looking at them and say, okay, we can't have too much of this. We don't want to have too much of that.
Best
we don't
of
want to
both.
take. Yeah. I'm serious. And so that's what I'm
That's
doing.
cool.
Yeah. So when my
That's
mother
really cool.
and some of the elders walk in there, I want them to see a piece of them.
So will it be on the outer wall or will it be like on the inner
Outside.
wall? Okay.
Put it on the
that's cool.
outside. On the
That's cool.
outside. And on the
nice.
inside, I wanted to put their faces, but my mother said no. She don't want to see that when she walk in the door. She said that. You know,
Okay.
she said, I don't want to see that. Son, I don't want to see that.
Okay.
So I was going to, you know, we got a couple of artists around us.
Yeah.
And I was going to, you know, do a mural and have their faces plastered on one of the wall, on one of the
Yeah.
walls in the
What
sanctuary.
about pictures and stuff? Is she like, okay
She don't
with
want
that?
to. She
None
don't
of
want.
that?
She don't want to see that stuff.
Okay.
You know, and I say, yeah, I get it, man. I get it.
Are there
So-
pictures still in the house, like of her in her house? Or?
My father never took much. My father
never
didn't
took
take
many
my father
pictures?
didn't take a lot of pictures.
Okay.
My father did not take a lot of pictures.
Okay.
And so I said, okay, so we're gonna put the washboard. She was cool with the washboard,
Okay.
the mural outside with the the two of his favorite scriptures.
Yeah.
So she was cool with that. And and we moving forward.
I
So
had never seen a washboard before I came to this
really,
church.
wow.
I didn't know it was.
Wow.
I didn't know what that was.
Yeah, it's a
Like,
thing.
What is that?
It's
They're
a
playing.
thing. It's a thing. And we played the
Yeah.
washboard. And so so that's what's going on in my world. I have that. I am doing some work here at the church. So I've developed a system and a scheme within the ministry so the ministry would take care of itself.
Yeah.
And this scheme that I have, this scheme and this plan that I've developed, I am doing the best I can to help other churches with 50 members and less. We have what you would call, I guess you would call it a small church or family size church, and what I would generally, average size church. But I often say we either got a good group of people or a group of good people. So that's what we got when this size church, So for anybody else who try to feel like and I've come to the place now where I'm not trying to inflate
Right.
the numbers.
Right.
You get it?
Yeah.
I am not trying to inflate any numbers. No. You have what God gave you, and you make the best of it.
Yes.
And then the Lord will add
Yes.
as He see fit.
Absolutely.
And keep it moving.
That's it.
Keep it moving. Keep it moving. And so to God be glory. And I see that now. And so that's so I am developing these things, and these things I will be sharing with a lot of our ministers. I am noticing in the post-COVID, we have to do church in a different way.
Definitely.
Even the financial plans that we had before, tithe and offering, and the collection, donations.
Yeah.
That can go up and down. And sometimes when you rely on that alone, it's sort of it could disturb the equilibrium of the ministry. And you see it sometimes like this and sometimes it's like that. And so how do I develop a system that removes the worry from the pastor?
Right.
And that's what I'm doing as a minister right now. So we are, I say I am, when I say I mean the court of Christ. We are in process and moving right now of teaching ministries how to develop a plan within your own ministry, so the ministry can take care of itself.
Yes.
Absolutely. So that's what we got. That's what I'm doing right now.
Beautiful.
So I'm doing, and I'm hands-on. So I'm still painting and cleaning, and I got a crew, so I'm hands on.
Yeah.
And then I'm on the other side. You have to do the administration.
Right.
And I'm enjoying both.
Right.
I'm having fun.
Yeah. So how are you incorporating? How is that all? I guess incorporating with because we started a new series Sunday.
Yes.
Purse and all.
Purse and all. Tithe and offering.
And
Purse
all.
and all.
And it was excellent. Excellent. I loved it. So, but how does that all, I guess, incorporate with, I don't know if you want to go there or not, like, how does that incorporate with, like, what we'll be learning, like, in regards to the, I guess, the balance of, is the goal, I know the goal is not to rely on, I guess, or is the goal, in fact, for the people to be more reliable with their giving, or, like, what would you say that they mesh it all?
Okay, so the numbers are the numbers. So the numbers are the numbers. I'm going to try to do this the right way without going the long way, but, still go around the circle. Okay. I'm going to do the best I can. And just cut me off and interject as you need to. But I honestly believe that what I noticed that there are maybe a few people in the ministry, and especially in ministry with, we're going to say 50 to 60 people. Let's stay within that range.
Okay.
The average church in America has about 50 people.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So studies show that about only a quarter of the church, a quarter of the church are the ones that's actually taking care of the ministry.
Right.
1/4 of the church.
Wow.
So 50. What's a quarter of 50? Right. Well, half is 25. A quarter 15. Would be 15, 18 ish. Yeah. We right in that, and we right there. We right there within that 15, 18 ish. The other ones would be children. So you really can't rely on them. And then you got those who just don't have it. You have that bunch. And then you got those who really don't trust or who have been manipulated,
right,
or who really don't understand the tithing system. And
or feel like the church don't need it.
Or feel like the church don't need it. But they don't want to mean who don't understand it. They feel like everything is good. Like, hey, they the lights stay on by themselves.
Yeah.
I can dance the lights on.
Yeah.
Keep on.
It's clean and they good.
Oh my God. I heard somebody told me, I called one of the elders. And I said, I'm having a problem. I'm saying I'm not getting too much help from my elder men or the elder women in the ministry. So I'm not getting too much, no, I'm not getting the phone calls. How you doing, son? Is everything got right over there? I'm not getting those, I'm not getting those, you keep your head up, you keep that little wife happy. You get those little, those little wellness calls.
Right.
And I'm noticing that maybe for the last 2 or 3 years, I'm not getting them, well, maybe longer than that. But I guess when I noticed it, I'm not getting those calls anymore. Okay. Just those checkup, are you still alive? Are you still safe? You yet holding on?
Need anything?
Keep on keeping on. So I noticed I'm not getting those phone calls anymore. So I called one of the elders and said, hey, no one's checking on me. I'm every now and then when I hear something in the spirit, I pick the phone up and call somebody. I said, so either you ignoring God or God ain't telling you.
One of the two.
I'm just messing with him. And he said, and guess what he said?
What?
He said to me, people are not going to call you because they feel like you don't need help.
Wow.
And I said, no, that's not the way that, it says when people look at you, you look like everything is okay. You look like, they say they see your ministry, they see your family, they see what you have, you got your book, your music, your this, your that. And he said, like, you all right. And I said, it's interesting.
It is.
That if people think that you're okay when they see you at a certain place.
Yeah.
Or they see you doing something.
Definitely.
And they think that you don't need anything.
Definitely.
Those are the ones who need the phone calls.
Right. Amen.
They are the ones.
They are the ones.
Y'all hear what I said?
We are the ones. We are the ones.
Y'all like, who get the phone calls is the ones you think are okay. Because yes, they may be okay on the surface. Yes, they're working hard. But oh my God, that little piece of encouragement.
Amen.
That little piece of, you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so that's where we are. So
that's the reason.
I'm like, and that's what he said to me. He said,
okay.
It makes sense, right?
I mean, it makes sense, but come on. Like, you don't do that.
Anybody got something to say? Y'all call in. Y'all call in.
Like,
any of my seniors, somebody call in. Go ahead.
I don't know. I guess I would have to say you had to investigate. Still call and see. Like, is everything okay? Do you need help? Because you look like everything's good. I still want, not just like fall off like, oh, I don't need nothing. Everything's good. There's still, or like, why does even the word of encouragement still not there? Even if it's not like a financial thing. Like,
that is true.
We just say, okay, well, they good. Like, is it something else? Like, is it just that?
Yeah.
You know, it's a little,
Man,
not sure.
He said to me, when it looks like you got it going on, people don't know what to say to you when they call you. This is what he said now. This is a minister.
I believe that. I mean, it's kind of, it's evident. When you think about it, like, people kind of carry things like that.
Yep.
It's concerning. It's a little bit, you know, just a little bit.
And so I don't think about it too much because I keep myself. I don't think about it too much because I'm keeping myself, going and active and you know what I'm saying. But certain things do throw my rhythm off.
Okay.
And I believe that's where we are. So let's get back into our subject before we get into all this other stuff.
Wait, okay.
Go ahead.
Because I do want to say something about that.
Go ahead.
Like, even down to to businesses. Like, when people see business, even new business, and now I'm thinking about Lib, I'm thinking about all the different, know, new businesses and how it is difficult for people to contribute when they see business, or when they see, I don't know why I even did this, but when they say business and when they see entrepreneur, it makes you think of, I guess, a new bridge or a new status or like a new demographic. But if it's a new business, you know what I'm saying, it's still developing. It still has all of those things. Like, you equate it to, we made it. And it's what do we do? How do you, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of strange. It's interesting because it's happening.
It's happening.
And people really don't.
Yeah, I see.
They think it's just, that makes, I mean, I'm glad he was honest about why.
Yeah.
But
But I asked him. I literally asked him.
Yeah.
And and so that was his answer. My answer's still the same. Either God didn't tell you, or you ignored him when he did. And so, but I respect what he said.
What y'all think about that? If people look like they have it all together, do you still call, encourage, text, cash? Should you?
Do you?
Are you uncomfortable with it? Like, what does it mean when?
Yeah. Do you think people are not supposed to?
Right. Like, does it put you in a different category? Like, well,
and a lot of people think that, and I know a lot of people who think that, a lot of people believe, and I know a lot of people think like this, and I don't even know why. Like, I even know ministers and leaders who think like this.
Oh, yeah,
if you're a certain size.
Like, it's like
the size of their church.
Okay.
Then they only they think within the confines of the size of their congregation.
Wow.
So they're like, hey, we a small church. And when they say we, I hear them say stuff like that. We a small church. We are this, we are that. And I hear those things all the time as if that means something.
Right.
Like, what does that mean? Like,
what does it mean?
Yeah, we're small church. And then they're like, but that doesn't mean you can't do anything.
No.
And when you say that, are you saying that you don't have the resources, you don't have the money, you don't have the knowledge, you don't have the influence, you know? What is it that you don't have when you open up your mouth and say that?
Right.
And why do you feel like just because you have 50 members, you try to inflate them 65, 72, whatever you do, really, you know what I'm saying? But if you said you got 50, you got 38 that coming on a regular. Yeah. I know what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Much, yeah.
And you don't have enough to open up your doors for Bible study.
Okay.
It got quiet.
It did get quiet that time.
You don't have enough people. You don't have enough people coming to your church to open up your doors for Bible study. So I know what this means. I know what this looks like. I get it. I so get it. My question is to the leader. My question is to the adjutant. My question to the first lady. My question, and if it's a woman pastor, to the first man. My question is to the minister, to the ones who are in charge, to the ones who are over. Back in the day, we called them auxiliaries.
Oh, okay.
They were ministries. To all of you, what does that mean?
Right.
And why have you subject the level of your ministry to the size of your church?
Yeah.
No.
Absolutely.
No.
And especially, like you said, the auxiliaries and such, you know actually what it takes to run a church or a business or an establishment. You know what it means to keep the lights on. You know what it means to provide this and provide that. So what did you forget? Like, I don't know, like, what happens in the process of that. Like, what happens in the process when you have hands-on experience or you're currently doing it?
And what do you mean by who? By who? By
like
what people?
Different, like, ministries, for example.
Right.
Whether it be the pastor, whoever is in charge of those particular, like, churches.
Yeah.
or businesses, small businesses.
Yeah.
Like, you know what it takes to keep it running. You know what your goal for the month is.
Right.
Like, you know how kind of difficult it is to kind of get people to pour into that. So why would it be hard for you to understand, I guess, the plea of other churches that you see that you don't want to give, or that you don't want to encourage, even if it's a word or whatever the case may be. Like, you're partnering.
Yeah. You're right.
Families, just saying.
You're right. So that was and this used to be an issue for me for a long time. In fact, for the first, I'm writing a memoir. My first 10 years of ministry. So I'm writing a memoir. My first 10 years of ministry. I'm not giving you. Well, we already said the name of the book a few episodes ago. So you got to go through all those episodes to find out the name. So
like 21.
So you got to. I don't remember how many episodes that go. Yeah, go through all of them to find the name. Okay. So I am writing a memoir. I should be done the memoir at the end of 25. So by the end of 2020, we're in mid 2024. By the end of 2025, I should be finished my memoir. It should be ready to go into publication mid 26.
Okay.
Just this type of thinking alone, to know that I'm having plans for the next 2-3 years.
Yeah.
It's interesting. And we got and those are pay attention, everybody. These are the things that you should listen to when you're talking to your leader.
Yeah.
And when your leader is talking to you. Are they saying stuff like, next season we're gonna be blessed?
Right.
This is our time.
Right.
This is our season. I mean, in a business meeting, I just feel God's up to something.
Right.
You're like, hey.
What?
What? Yeah, give some projections. Let's be honest. How long does this thing take? You know what I'm saying? This thing takes
realistic.
time. Be realistic. And when you hear those things, you're not hearing someone who is just shooting from the hip.
Absolutely.
You know, there has to be a strategy.
Absolutely.
Here. And so I'm thinking it should be finished late 25, mid 2026. My memoir was my first 10 years as a pastor and being an independent pastor. I'm going to begin. The book will begin. Well, the book. I'm trying to figure how I'm going to begin the book, but the book is going to. I'm going to write the book like a story. The most important person in the world is the storyteller. So being able to tell a story.
Absolutely.
Artists, songwriters, comedians.
Yeah.
All that's why David Chappelle is so. That's why David Chappelle is so good.
He definitely paints
He can tell a story.
He can tell a story.
Cat Williams and Kevin Hart. See, they love Kevin Hart. Yeah, they can tell a story.
Yes.
And so y'all have to know the art of storytelling.
And it could be about nothing.
Nothing.
But you just be like.
And you know what that is?
What?
Seinfeld.
Oh, yeah, Seinfeld.
Nothing.
It was nothing. It was nothing. It wasn't about it.
Yada. Nothing.
One of the highest rated TV shows ever.
I remember they did a story about the backside of bagels.
I didn't see that one.
Like the bottom of a bagel.
Yeah.
And the whole.
Isn't that something?
But that's serious, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you're supposed to have thought. What kind of? I mean.
And it was because it was
to pull that off.
Yeah.
The back of a bagel. The bottom of the bagel, rather. The bottom of the bagel.
Which are conversations that some people have. But dang, y'all talk about that too. The back of a bagel.
The bottom of a bagel. The bottom back of a bagel. I don't know how you come up with that concept, but hey, made millions and it's still making money.
Oh yeah.
Still in syndication.
Yes.
All right, so that's crazy, right?
Very high rated show. It wasn't like a little show. It was a big show.
So the memoir will be about my first 10 years of being a pastor. The story is going to start with a woman that we had in our church named Suzanne Nelson.
Okay.
She will be how I begin my memoir with Suzanne Nelson. Suzanne Nelson was a woman, a Caucasian lady, on our street, strung out on drugs. I mean, just a whole, but she was the first woman that helped me to get into this building so we can get into the day we got in. On our opening day. Everybody left because he was working. We were tired. It was warm. It was in the first Sunday in June. It was warm. And everybody went home like, we're going to get ready. We're going to get dressed. We're going to have church. And Suzanne and I, she stayed. And Sue helped clean up and everything else. Sue had schizophrenia. She was strung out on drugs. She was 105 pounds with wet clothes on.
Like
you
97.
know, you serious, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and one day she walked in. Remember the day she walked in the church, and she walked in, and they had a new drug on the street, and of course, when you have drugs out on the street, I'm not gonna. Well, she's gone, so I can tell a story. They usually you know try it out on some of the and so she tried it, and it just really messed her up. So she walked into church with the effects of that, that drug. And when she walked in, all of us just looked, and at that moment, I saw her coming from across the street because the front door was open. And she walked into church. She was swollen. Her eyes was puffy. You remember that day?
I remember that day.
Oh, man, and I just held her.
Yeah.
She walked in the church. This was like during service, right?
I think did we hit the call?
During service? No, because she walked right down the middle of the aisle when I was ministering.
No. Oh, yeah.
Yep. So I was ministering, and she walked right down the middle of the aisle. And I felt so bad because she tried to get clean a couple times. And I just felt so bad. We just held each other. And we just held each other for about what it felt like for an eternity. She came back. You remember that, right? She came back the Wednesday. We called the ambulance. You called the ambulance, I believe. And, ambulance came, picked her up, whatever. She came back Wednesday, and she said these words. Then she said, for the first time in my life, I felt like somebody cared for me.
Wow.
And she said, I felt like God was holding me.
Wow.
This is what she said.
Wow.
This was, so Sunday, we called she came to church. Wednesday, she sat in service. And she said, I'm only here because I felt like God was holding me.
Wow.
Friday night, her boyfriend came running to the church crying, saying Suzanne passed away. And that, it just, overdose. And it said Suzanne passed away. And he was crying, Rev. And I said, and I remember saying, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, praying for him. And he pulled away from me and ran. He just pushed away, and it was raining that day. And he remember pushing away from me, and he ran. And they took her down. Her family came and took her down to Florida, and that was,
Wow.
Anyway, so that's how my story is going to begin.
It's
going to begin with
that was
her.
already good, right?
It's going to begin
Told
with
the
her,
story.
and then it's going to go back to when we started the Court of Christ, and then it's going to take the 10 years from.
Nice.
But that will be the beginning of the opening of my book.
Wow.
So, story
Gorgeous.
of Suzanne Nelson. So that's how the book going to open. It's going to go that story, and then it's going to go back to the beginning of my pastor and tenure, and it's going to go through the first 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, to God be glory.
That's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and I think I may take it to the death of my father. I
That's
think
where you want to stop?
I may end the death of my
Because
father.
when would 10 years?
10 years would be last year.
Okay.
Yeah, 10 years would be last. No, 10 years would be no. 20. I started 29 when I was 29 years old. So 39, which would be I'm 45, 6 years ago. Yeah. He passed away when I was 38, 39. 10
So
years. That's right. That's 10 years.
Wow.
That's 10 years. Yeah, because I was so mad at my dad because I thought he was gonna make it to 40.
Okay.
I said he gonna be around until I'm 40. I said that, and then he passed away when I was 39. So I was selfishly upset.
Okay.
Yeah, and so yeah.
Wow. So you're not okay. So you wouldn't add. You're not going to add those nuggets from the last however many years, like 5 years or so.
Not in my
This
memoir.
one? Okay.
Not in this one.
Okay.
It would be until my father. So it would be from the beginning. It'd be Sue, beginning of my ministry to the passing of my dad.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was like sort of the passing of the torch, or the day when I realized, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so it would be that. And that would be my first 10 years. So I'm going to write a memoir about that. And I got so many stories.
That's going to be
It's going to be a good book. It's going to be a good
one.
It's going to be a good. You'd be surprised what we go through.
Absolutely.
We all go through.
Yes.
We're going to be surprised.
Yeah. Sometimes you forget, don't reflect on those things.
Man, this book can be a movie.
Forget about it. I was just about to say, it sounds like one.
This book can be a movie.
Sounds like a movie.
God, y'all, the humor. And I'm going to be as blunt and as concrete, and I'm going to do my transition when I changed. I'm going to go through that period and that day when it happened. I remember that day. I remember where I was. To God be glory.
That's going to be good.
So that's what I'm working on. So y'all look out for that. That's mid 2026. Y'all keep me in prayer, everybody.
Definitely.
Keep me in prayer. All right. We finished with that?
I don't know, because I kind of want to say something else about it. But
go for it. No, go for it.
It's just interesting when I don't really want to start talking about transition, but when people transition, when you just gave the transition of Sue, it's like people
like passing away transition.
It's been said, yes. Yeah, okay. It's been said that like people they agree to leave.
I heard that.
Yeah, like with her making the statement, I felt like God was holding me. It's almost like it's a feeling. First of all, obviously, the fact that she verbalized it like she's never felt that before. Just the comfort of knowing that, oh yeah, there is a God, or that, you know what I mean, or it is real.
Crazy.
And it's like that acceptance, because even like some of my patients, like when you see them as they're getting ready to transition, and it's almost like people are like, well, they waited for their daughter to leave.
Oh yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
And it's like, I've heard it said before, like for example, like people almost say that, well, they wait for people to leave because, the child wouldn't want them to leave. You'll keep holding their hand or don't go. It's like a pull. And but anyway, the acceptance of the transition itself, like it's like you accept that, okay, I'm finished here, or it's like just that accept. That's what it made me think about when you said that. Like that's something.
That's something, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard for us to swallow.
But it's a real.
Yeah,
it's a real thing. So I'm gonna write that. It's gonna be something. I'm gonna be concrete. I'm gonna be transparent. I'm not gonna hold any punches. You're gonna know. It won't be a book of. It'll be and I won't call these highs and lows. Okay. I won't call them that. I won't call life experiences highs and lows. But it would be the way I handle what we would call a highs and what we call a lows. So it's not just the experience of what I think was high. Because sometimes we feel like we got good moments, and this is how I felt during the good moments, and we got bad moments, and this is what I was going to do in the bad moments. So painting that picture of a dark moment would be one thing, but painting the picture of what I was going through during those moments, and how I began to transition to know that those moments are part of life.
Absolutely.
So they are part of what we're going through. And I've learned that I had to, so we know we got to go through, right? But I got to a point in my ministry where I learned to embrace them.
Yes.
Not just accept.
Appreciate all the moments.
I mean, take hold of it.
Yeah.
Like, down, what does it mean to be down? What does it mean not to have? What does a bad moment, a so-called bad moment mean? What does that, what does it mean?
Right.
And so I've learned to embrace it. Not just accept it. Yeah, really, like, this is mine.
Yeah.
My time. Yeah. And so what am I going to learn? What am I doing? This is my story. This is it. And and what am I going to do here?
What am I going to do?
Go to sleep.
Exactly.
Rest yourself. Rest
yeah.
yourself. Learn. You get what I'm saying? Oh my God. I often say that when your light goes down, it's so somebody else's light can rise. I often say that when your sun is setting, someone else's sun is rising. And so you have to learn how to appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And so, because sometimes when people are always on top, always the best, always up, sometimes you have your down days. Those days come to allow other people in your life to have greater moments. Got to have them. You just have to have them. They're just important, and that's how I see it. So So I've learned to embrace them.
Absolutely.
So when things don't look well for me, I'm like, well, somebody is really enjoying life right now. Somebody in my circle is really having fun, and I look for them. I'm like, yeah, and I join Appreciation Ministry. Somebody is shining. Somebody is doing wonderful. Somebody's having a good time. The world is round.
But are you saying that you're not at that time?
Oh, I'm not. Okay. I'm not. But I know I'm not. And not that I'm just not. I know that I'm not supposed to.
Okay.
So this moment is now. This is just my Anthony Fliggins, everybody. So no, I'm not making a blanket statement. I'm only making a personal statement here. When I go through those moments when things are just not going the way I think it should go, I realize that these moments, every dog has their day, and I've learned it from some elders, who was going through something in real estate. Every dog has their day, and when you're dealing with real estate, you have in real estate it's called correction. It's when the market falls. People who are in real estate see that, they don't get upset.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, it's supposed to fall.
Right.
You know, it's supposed to fall.
Right.
And it turns to a buyer's market. And that's what they call it, a buyer's market. And then when it goes high, they call it a seller's market.
Okay.
And so we just learn how to navigate.
Yeah. So, but in appreciating all of those moments, do you still, I guess I'm trying, in appreciating all of, and we got a comment too, in appreciating all of those moments, whether it seems to be good or seems to not be as good as the others, is it a down moment?
For me, it is.
Okay.
Oh, and that's how I call it. For me, it's a down, because I don't want this. I'm not used to it. It is, you know, if let's just use for an example, if you have let's just use the congregation or size of a congregation. I'm going to use something that's relative to where I am and to those who may be listening. Size of a congregation. If I'm accustomed to seeing 100 people, and now all of a sudden during a season I'm only seeing 25, I'm having a down moment. Some things got to change within the frame of the ministry.
Okay.
If me and my spouse is having good times and we are, you know, and we are happy, but then we hit a moment when we just can't get along, or something come up in the marriage, or you know, or me and my children always getting along. Then all of a sudden they do something silly, or I do something, and then we got those moments where there's friction in the house. That's a down moment.
Okay.
And so I've learned that those moments have meaning. Right. What does it mean?
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how I embrace it.
Okay. So we have a comment here. First Lady says, everybody needs encouragement on any and every level. And I also believe you don't have to walk around with the sign on your back saying that something is wrong. And she said it takes discernment.
Well, what about, and that's our earlier comment, our earlier talk. Discussion, but about people not, you know, calling you and stuff. And yes, you don't need, but what about the people that don't?
That don't what?
What about them? You know, how do you feel when they don't? People feel like you're okay. People feel like you're doing well. People feel like you are making it, but you still need encouragement. So I guess my question would be that, do you have a certain feeling when those people, because I did, when those people that you think should call you and check on you, you know, they don't call, you know, they don't check, they won't send a text message, you know, an email or something, a smoke signal, send something, stop by, you know,
it's going to happen. It happens.
Stop by, you know, and so
I don't know. I think that those moments kind of, I guess they teach you how to deal with that and not to be so engulfed in, I guess, the compliments or the or I don't want to just say the encouragement, but it kind of teaches you to be able to independently not, I guess, associate feelings with those things and be able to move on. But I mean, I would be lying if I say it doesn't like hurt a little. Like it definitely can make you feel uncomfortable when the people you would love to be supporting you at that time are not supporting you, or it's not an easy thing. So I guess it is what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is. So, but it makes me, the only thing that did was it's starting to make me a better minister, an elder brother to those who need encouragement.
Yeah.
And so I know what it feels like. And you know,
you can give
and
that
then
to
now I'm like, okay, I gotta sort of,
Yes.
call and check on somebody. Just send a text message, a smoke signal, send something to say.
Or delegate somebody to
Yeah.
Work and stay with them.
Yep. So it's okay. And I feel like, it just this is making me a better minister. I'm not looking for anybody to call me, so don't nobody call me. They're not going to call me anyway. But don't call me. They probably don't have my number or whatever, but you can contact me. But don't call me. You know, after I said this,
right.
Please don't call me.
I mean, I don't think
it's genuine.
Okay,
don't call me.
I don't like stuff like that.
Just pray for me.
Because it's like when we talk about stuff, you know, and then if people do repent or whatever, and they do, you know what, like, not that it has to be phony per se, but if in the next season they decide to call or try to send a text, hey, just checking on you, whatever, I don't think they should be rejected.
Okay, so
because some people are just not aware that that's what they should have been doing.
If you do call me, tell me that you heard this podcast, Tell me that you heard my heart and said, hey, I heard what you said, sending you some love.
Okay.
I could appreciate that. I honestly would.
Okay.
I would.
But anything else is like,
I do the same thing. When somebody make note, one day my mother came to me and said, son, you still got a mother. I was just so busy. She said, son, you still got a mother. I know you got a wife and everything. She got a mother. And I had to go to her and say, yeah, Ma, you right. You are right. You are right. I'm going to check on you some more. I'm going to do A, B, and C.
Right.
But I had to make that known to her. Like, yes, your request, you know what I'm saying? Your concern, got to me. It made me feel a certain way. So I'm letting you know right now, I apologize. You're right. I'm the eldest. You know what I'm saying? I got to do more and got to step my game up. And I gotta drop in every now and then and do what we do. So
yeah,
that's what family's for.
That's what family is for.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So any advice? So what should people? So what? There's no resolve.
There is a resolve.
Like what?
Oh, there is a resolve.
So what's the resolve? What helps people get through this?
Okay,
I guess
number one, elders need to know that number one, that the younger generation will do better than you. That has to be first. That has to be the first line of
should be the goal. Should be
yeah. But for some people, that's not.
Apparently,
but elders need to know. They need to know that the younger generation will do it better than you,
faster than you,
more efficient than you. They're gonna. It's just
more
gonna.
Resources
It's just gonna be another level.
Yeah.
So that's what they have to know. Got to know that going forward.
Yes.
Got to know that. Number two, you have to know that it won't sound and look the way you think it ought to look.
Right.
That's another problem, because most people really don't reach out to you and they don't embrace you, and they don't do it because it's sort of against what they think it should be.
It should be, yeah.
So if they can't relate,
right,
they sort of sometimes they demonize.
Right.
If they can't relate,
right.
you get what I'm saying? They put it in a place where it doesn't belong.
Yeah.
If I don't understand what they're saying, then you know what? They might. I'm praying for them, and I pray God give them the right words so they can do it, say it the way we said it.
Right, exactly.
So those two things you got to know up front. Number one, it ain't gonna be like you. Number two, it's gonna be better than what you done. It's gonna be better than it's gonna be better than whatever you tried to do. The next generation gonna do it better because we learned from you.
Yeah.
All right. And that being said, when you are thinking about them, you must take note that people who are young people who are working hard, reverence the elders that was working hard in the same field, whether they were successful or not, whether so-called successful,
right,
whether they so-called made it or not. We respect our elders because we know what it took,
right,
and we know what it takes. And we know how hard it is to do this with the resources that we have. So I can imagine how hard it was for you.
Yes.
And you're looking like, man, y'all made it the fact that you made it that long.
Yes.
The fact that you existed.
Right.
The fact that your tenure was 30 and 40 years
yes.
and you're still on the wall.
Yes.
It's serious. So when you call and give us a piece of advice or give us a word of encouragement, it means the world.
Absolutely. It does.
It means the world. You hear what I said? It means the world.
The world.
Because I'm not looking at you in comparison to what I have. I'm not looking at you in comparison. We're not. I'm not. There is no competition. Not with you.
Right.
No. I'm looking at you as someone who laid the foundation. And without you, I wouldn't have it.
Yes.
So when you do call, when you do send the text, when you do stop by, it almost validates what I'm doing.
Definitely.
It's like, oh, yeah, they said okay. A million of y'all can say I'm not. If that one said I'm good, I'm good. I got the prayers of the elders. I got the amen corner behind me.
Yes.
I'm okay. And so that right there, that's the resolve. Young people need to respect the elders. Elders need to know that our young people are going to do it a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? More efficient. That's what we do. That's what's going on. And go ahead and know that your voice, talk to the elders, your voice makes a difference.
Absolutely.
That phone call make a difference. That prayer makes a huge difference.
I guess I would have to ask you, because you were there, with the transition. All right, so you had the transition, between you and your father's generation, right?
Yeah.
Prior to that, do you remember there ever is this just a thing as far as the passing of the baton? Is it a ongoing thing where it's that I don't want to call it competition, but it's there's a unspoken competition of dis-ease with the passing on of titles and relationships and advice and things like that. Those are the things that you just listed are very important, but there are some elders that have that's the thing. The thing is that they do think that it is somewhat of a competition, or they're not going to do it as good as we did, but it's still got to move on. Is this just a thing?
To certain people in certain I want to use the word demographics, but in certain settings. Okay. Because if you're in a group setting, and I know a lot of churches that have a lot of denominations, a lot of our churches, and a lot of are part of organizations, they are trained to help the younger generation.
Right, that's true.
You get what I'm saying? They are trained to do that. They are in a company of elders, so they got their friends and their job. So they come in knowing in order to be an elder, one of the jobs you got to do to be an elder in this organization is check on the young people. So they are trained. They are groomed to understand that we have to groom another generation.
Right.
So they automatically do it. I got some change, and you need some change. I got some change. They come by and stop by and check on you. So they are trained for that. But in certain groups, like an independent church, sometimes those elders do not all now, but sometimes those elders just will not. They just will not. And I don't know if it's a result of being an independent church. Because a lot of independent churches are not part of big organizations.
Okay.
They have smaller organizations, and some of them are part of bigger organizations. But I know a lot of them just not.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like they out there in the field by themselves.
Okay.
And so they really don't know to do it, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
And they're not being malicious. They're just not aware that there is somebody who is really.
So you mean if they just consistently were in independent churches in general?
That's what I see. From what I see, because I don't see the Baptist churches and Church of God in Christ. Because I got family in Church of God in Christ.
Okay.
I got family in Baptist churches, and I got cousins, and I got who are in the Church of God in Christ, who are in that setting, who elders actually help.
Okay.
I mean, you can see the relationship. Okay. You can see those elders are actually coming to their anniversaries.
Okay.
Not even preaching. They're just coming to sow.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? That you host an anniversary service, and you got 5 and 6 elders, district elders, sitting in your 30-member church.
Okay.
They left their church with 500 members to sit in your church.
Wow.
And they just sit there, and they sow a seed for $1,000.
Wow.
And they go home.
Okay. So.
So
then that should be in the fabric then of independent churches.
It should be.
As far as the teaching of that. I guess if it's not going to be something that just.
Yes. So we just got something that we just need to learn to do. There's pros and cons to all this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, I'm just bringing it from one dynamic.
Yeah, definitely.
Teach his own.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
so we got that out the way.
That went longer than we thought, but.
All right, let's move on. So what were we talking about? Tithing offering, right? That's where that's where it started. We went somewhere else.
How did we get here?
Yeah, we know, right? The secret is in the conversation. Yeah. All right, so I started a series dealing with the tithe. The whole thing started with why did I start teaching the tithe? And we started talking about the numbers.
Okay.
And it was those few that I am trying to target to be a part of the few that that's going to do.
Right, okay.
So we're talking about a quarter of the church.
Right, that's what we said. Okay.
But evidently, a part of my quarter ain't quartering. Because I know it's going to be a quarter. But it has to be the whole quarter.
Has to be the whole quarter.
Now, y'all talking about, when we talking about a quarter, okay, let's go back to it.
We got to go back to
give context.
Okay.
Only a quarter of the church really takes care of the entire ministry when you're dealing with donations.
Right.
and we're talking about a smaller church,
right?
And I am developing a plan and a financial scheme that will we will discuss it another time how to do these things and what to do. Okay. And by all means, I put it out there because I believe that I am doing it so I can show other churches how to do it. Absolutely. Yes. And so we won't have to rely on it. So we won't go through the ebbs and flows financially, as we deal with the ministry. Number two, I know I'm jumping. I don't think that we should have as many services, church services as we're having just to raise money.
Oh, yeah, no, not to just raise money.
And that's the point. That's another thing we're doing, too, that we're going to have to walk away
Are people still doing that?
Oh, my God. That's the only reason they're really doing it.
Okay, I thought they was just doing that like back in
the day. No, they're still having all these revivals and stuff like that. These are fundraisers.
Okay.
These are to keep the bills on.
Okay.
Not keep the bills on. To keep the lights on. Keep the bills paid. Yeah, this really not, these really not.
Like spirit-led.
No. And you can tell because it's the run-of-the-mill same thing.
Yeah, okay.
And I hate to say this, it's the same people. So it's the same.
Okay.
I don't want to use this word, but I'll use it because I can't use that word. People are already mad with me. It's just the same group. That's it. And so it's the same group, so you're going to get the same experience.
Okay.
So you're realizing, you're just trying to keep some things paid here.
Yeah.
There is nothing new, fresh.
Interesting.
Okay.
And we'll come back to that because you made a post about like revivals and stuff
like
that.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. And so that's where we are. And I think that we're doing it a little too much.
Okay.
And it's so much now that my concern is becoming my fear. So the older I get, concerns are becoming fears.
Explain.
I fear that the church is going to become too gimmicky.
Okay. Gimmicky.
Like a gimmick.
Okay.
You can almost forecast what it's going to be.
Okay.
Praise and worship, prayer, some more singing. The pastor going to get up, the preacher going to preach, and at the end of it, they're going to do this thing to raise some money. Mm. You can almost see the games played. I'm like, you can predict the service. Mm. It's almost like, okay, they're going to prophesy, and after they prophesy, Deshaun and I saw a service, and the guy was prophesying. I said, Dad, he's going to prophesy 2 or 3 more times, and then I said, then he's going to raise money. And then when I started pointing out certain things to her, I said, Deshaun, I know I'm going to get in trouble for this, but it is what it is. But this is the fear. I said, notice, they are only prophesying to women. Mm. Notice how they are not calling. Y'all pay attention. I'm on right here. Y'all pay attention.
Who is they?
When prophets come to your church.
Not necessarily. But
pay attention.
Okay.
Y'all keep looking. Mm-hmm. When I'm talking about, I ain't said they only prophesy to women. Okay. I'm saying that the majority of the prophets prophesy to women. Now, why? I know God is not just talking to women.
No.
I know this. Mm-hmm. So why isn't that you don't call out men as much as you call out women? Uh-huh. I believe women are emotional. So you grab that emotional part in order to play the money game. So when you can grab that part of emotionalism to get that money game, all of a sudden everybody starts feeling it. You can, and if you can predict it. So I said, Day, you better start prophesying. And I said, watch how many women and men. It was like maybe about 7, 8 women, and then he only talked to one man. And when he talked to the man with a woman.
Okay.
And why? Why? What is this?
I mean, the ratio of women to men. I mean, not saying that the Lord would operate like that, but I'm just
Lord
saying
don't operate on our ratios.
I don't know. Okay.
But just look at it. Just everybody just go to this. Just go to y'all, and all these convocations and stuff are right on YouTube. Mm-hmm. So it's not like you can't see it, and I'm only making an observation. So I'm setting a precedent. Mm-hmm. So I'm only going off of what I see. Go for it.
Okay. That's cool. So, I mean, I just wondered that people that are like when that's a valid observation. But like when people come to services and they're I guess attempting to predict whatever's going to happen. Now, don't get me wrong, they're obviously, the average service it can be pretty predictable. But if that's the overall thought like of the congregation, it's like, okay, it's about to do this next and this about to be, I mean, then it's like it leaves no room like for anything.
But that's what I'm saying. That's where the church is going.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's horrible.
But that's what's going on. Mm. So now you can just look at it. It's almost like a movie. You almost know what's going to happen next. An action movie. a love movie.
Okay.
A thriller. Or what you call them movies when the woman is crazy and she fall in love with the man. You already know it's gonna be a fight in the middle. You already know you already know it's gonna be a beef in the middle. You already know when it's gonna shift, and you already know at the end it's gonna be something twist. You kind of know what's going on.
That's where I feel like some of the newer generation had attempts to change. I'm not saying it had to be like drastically changed, but had attempts to like change certain things, and you get pushback for when the service would get changed like this. Or we're going to add announcements here in the middle, or no, we're going to add this at the end, and then this is going to be in the front. We're not going to do the scripture no more. We're going to, and it's like this problem, like for change, but then it stays in the same kind of boat. So it's like,
so to the young people, it's supposed to be a problem because if you bring in change, people who are accustomed to something going to fight back.
Right, but then you have this, which then, if this is what you're seeing, obviously, you know, people saying in general, like people going to just leave. They want to come. They don't want to be a part of it.
So it's the job of the younger generation to go through the fight and not give up. So you can't just have everything your way.
Oh yeah, people will definitely give up.
Yeah, and peace and go ahead. But and when you give up, it also and to me, when you give up like that, it also means, was it God? When people give up,
go start their own churches.
Yeah, and that's why it's a mess.
Yeah, we're gonna start.
But was it God?
Because I can't say, you can't necessarily say it wasn't.
Well, when God gives you an assignment, He gives you the strength to go through.
Yeah,
when God gives the assignment, but okay. So when people, from where I stand, when God gives you an assignment, He gives you the strength to endure. When it's a God-given assignment. So if it's man-given, God-given is when you want something done.
Choice.
You do have a choice, but God lets you know. So when God gives you something, He gives you the strength to fight through it. So whenever you introduce something that's anybody. That's happened to Martin Luther King when he was doing the freedom fighting. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wasn't for Martin Luther King.
Oh yeah.
He had more people against him than he had for him. But when God is at your back, there's a tenacity, there's a purpose. It ain't just to see something different happen. It's like, no, I'm bringing change. So with that comes the angelic force behind it. And that is the push to let you know that it is God and not you. Because it has to be God's grace and not just something you want. So it has to be God's hand on it, not something that you see or you desire. Because when it becomes something that you see or you desire, then you can quit or start or move on or just start your own church. You can do what you want to do because it was just you. But did God tell you this needs to happen in this ministry? This needs to happen during this season. This is what we're doing right now. And now you have the responsibility to bring that, to introduce it, and to fight through it.
Yeah, for sure. But only the strong will survive. I don't think that just because someone doesn't endure, that it wasn't necessarily God.
Okay.
That they may have made a choice to not saying that was the best choice or that it was a terrible choice. But I don't think if they don't withstand it, that necessarily means that God didn't give them that to push through it. They just made that choice.
Okay. And I think just the opposite.
Okay.
And so that's what it is.
So you think that God never gave that to them from the beginning?
No, I just think it was just them. Because God give you, it's not
that He's not giving the strength to endure.
No.
Okay.
See, you can't fight God. When God, when there's a grace upon your life, it's not like, oh no, I can't do this. I'm just gonna, no. God removes that what you can't. God removes you.
Go ahead.
So okay, God remove whatever. When you feel like it gets hard, when you feel like you can't, God's grace removes what you feel like you can't do. So that you don't have a decision. You don't. When people say, well, it's not me, it's God. When you say it's not you, it's really not you. That means it's not your choice to stay or leave. It is God's choice on you. You don't have that decision. God comes in and removes that from you. When it's God, you don't have a choice.
I understand that.
So when you say, well, you had a choice, when it's God, you don't have a choice. When it's God, nevertheless, not my will, let your be when it's God.
Yeah.
See, he takes that away from
I understand that, but
yeah. Go ahead.
No,
yeah. So that's again, we're talking two different perspectives.
Yeah. I mean, I understand what you're saying because I personally experienced that no choice situation. But what I'm saying is, because we are, in my opinion, at least the way I'm looking at it, because we are given free will, we are given, even though obviously we are given the grace, it can be done, but do people go all the way with it? I think some people just don't. And I don't think because they made the choice to just necessarily give up that God was never in it, or God didn't instruct them on their original purpose.
Yeah.
So that's what I disagree with, but it's fine.
Yeah, we did disagree.
Yeah.
And that's how, and this is how I believe this is the difference between it being God and you, because of those things. So that's how, because we can't say God did or didn't. Can't nobody say it. Only that person can. So how are we able to decipher and to determine that it was God?
I don't even think that's up to us.
See,
what I'm saying is not up to us in regards to me to judge what you said that God told you to do. If he told you to do it and you do it, then that's great. If he told you to do it and you give up, then that's your business.
That's not great.
That's your business.
Yeah.
That situation could be great for you in the long run because maybe you learned something from this. I don't know. But I don't think that's necessarily.
I like that.
You just, I really don't have nothing to do with that. Now, if somebody come to you or come to me and ask, what do you think about this? And then that's imparted, then that's different. But to just be like, well, that was never God to begin with, because no.
Yeah, I kind of like, I like that. I like that perspective. I really, now that I'm thinking about it, I still don't agree with it. I like that perspective. And if I like that perspective. The only reason I only reason I have a little bit of tension or contention or what you're saying is because when you say God said it and it's just you, that's when it doesn't matter.
What do you mean it is just you?
Okay, so you're saying God told me to, I guess, go left, and you don't go left. It was just you going left or going right. I'm just using this as an example. It was just a decision you made for yourself. But when you have to do something like introduce something to a congregation, you're doing something that other people have to be involved with. At this moment, I should be able to say whether it's God or not because you are involving me. Now I have to shift my life. I have to change what I thought. Because, wait a minute, God didn't tell me to change. It is tricky, right? Because God did not tell me to change. God didn't tell me to do anything. He told you to tell me. Now, how am I going to know what's God? Because, and now my world is being affected by your decisions. My world. You know, don't disrupt me because something God told you. But if you are going to disrupt me, then it is your job. It is your obligation.
Oh yeah.
And
follow
then
through.
Yeah, and so now when you like walk away, like wait a minute, you almost had me at the break or something. And now when but that's what it is though. But that's what it is. When you're giving up because you have called certain people to move and to change and to shift something, and then all of a sudden, well, it's too hard. You know what? Y'all just making this too difficult for me. Wait a minute. Yeah, I was halfway there. But that's what it is. Because you don't know how many people you convinced. And you don't know how many people God said, now go. Because you did have a hard heart at first. And now heart's starting to shift. But because it got too hard for you, you start walking away. And that person is now convinced. And now that person is left like, what was it really God?
I guess you would have to ask the same question if you ask your congregation, I'm just using it as an example, to for something that, you know, that God told you, and they don't go with you, and so was that God?
Yes, because you the one that got to keep going when they don't go.
That's what I'm saying. Though.
That's what I'm saying.
So it's almost the same thing as you mentioning that you're gonna go and people go with you. If you decide to change in the middle, like it's kind of the same thing.
Explain it again, because I think you're saying what I'm saying.
Okay, we might be saying the same thing.
No, you go ahead.
So what we first said, let me make sure. What we first said was you're making a decision, right? You're making a decision, and then the congregation, you decide to change your mind, right? Once you get into it, that's what we said, correct?
Because it got too hard.
Because it got difficult, and the concern was, well, was it God to begin with, right?
And I'm saying
You're saying that no, because you made
the grace
was given to you, but because you quit, then that now means that God never was in it.
Yeah, I think that was you.
That wasn't me. I definitely didn't say that.
No, I didn't say you said that.
Okay.
I didn't say you.
You're saying that, right?
No, I am saying that when God's hand is on you to do an assignment, to put an assignment,
yes, He
gives you the grace,
and I agree with that,
to complete the assignment.
Right.
He gives you the strength,
yes,
to fulfill it.
Yes.
Never.
But if you don't,
wait a minute.
Okay.
See, and that's the part. And that but
is what you're saying is not God.
That but doesn't exist, because God removes the but, because He makes the end of a thing from the beginning. Okay. In my opinion, just my opinion, you don't have to agree with me. You could agree with me. It could be 50-50. I don't know. Hey, just one side here. I'm not trying to convince
I don't
nobody.
live to not agree with you.
Yeah. I'm talking to people.
Yeah, but we're having a conversation.
So agree or disagree. We can, but so when God gives you an assignment, the grace to fulfill it, never assume a position without fulfilling it.
Okay.
Never assume a position without fulfilling.
Yeah.
When God plays something on your life, He is not always going to tell you that how hard it's going to be.
No.
Or how easy it's going to be.
Exactly.
You really don't know. But you got to complete the assignment.
So is there a difference between attempting to do fulfilling your assignment, getting into it, it doesn't quite go your way, whatever happens that disrupts you, and you make a decision, I'm not going to do that right now. You don't listen to the assignment that God gave you.
Right.
You're saying that that's actually not God, because He would give you the strength to carry out the whole situation.
And that's how you can tell if it's God or not.
I'm saying I don't necessarily agree with that.
Right.
Because there are situations like that. I believe that things come about, storms, whatever the situation, that completely disrupt, and there seems to be no way, and in that time you can't fulfill it, but in another time you can. I don't think that necessarily mean that God was not with you, or that God didn't give you that original assignment for you.
Right.
My question is there a difference in you being assigned something to a group of people, and they say, no, well, we're not going with that. We don't, but God gave it to you.
I've been there.
And at that time, you like, well, all right, we're going to do it another time. And then maybe it works that next time. But them saying no as a whole, disagreeing with whatever it is, like, does that mean that God wasn't with that decision either? Because He would have also given the strength to, it's like what you're saying as far as like He gives you the strength to complete the assignment that He gave you, which I agree. If things don't happen in that time, it's like, oh, well, He was never with you.
Okay, so
but with this, it's like, well, I mean, they disagree.
Well,
so
wait. So my statement has nothing to do with tenure.
Okay, I didn't mention.
Yeah, you said you said use time. You said so if it wasn't done at this time.
Okay.
So my statement is not time.
Okay.
My statement
in general, you're saying if you don't complete the assignment.
In general, I'm talking about in general. I'm not talking about like at a certain time.
I'm adding something to
you adding?
that.
Okay.
But if we want to keep it just at that,
yeah.
If you are given an assignment that you don't fulfill, I just use at that time because it may be another time that
then
it's
you still in it then.
Right. See, but what I'm saying is maybe it's the way it was miscommunicated.
No, you're still in it.
Because then that clears it up. Because that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like you're like, no, if you don't do it, then
no, I didn't say that.
Then that wasn't God.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay.
I never used time.
Okay.
No. Because things take time.
Okay.
Things take time.
Okay.
Oh no! Things take time, so no time is not in it. It's not in it. It's the quitting. Okay, we cleared it up. All right, so back to where we were. Can we get back to it?
Where were we?
We still talking about time. No.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I know we can't get back. We can't get ready, but okay. So so a quarter of the church usually takes care of the church. All right. I have to make sure I have the whole quarter. That's what I want to convince. Okay. I want to convince my quarter. So when I minister, I often know that I'm only going to reach 1/4 of the congregation. I know this. Now, most pastors may not know this. I know this. I've taught it quite a few times. Matthew chapter number 13. So it went to so. Stony, wayside. You know what I'm saying? Some got scorched and good ground.
Yeah.
So 1/4 of the church gonna get it. So I already know. But that doesn't mean that 1/4. That doesn't mean that it will only be 1/4 of the church. It will simply be that these are the people that I will be able to sort of convince. But 1/4 should have enough energy, strength, influence to get another 1/4. You get it?
Yes.
And they get another 1/4. So I'm only getting my portion.
Okay.
I get that.
Okay.
I'm at a place now where I need to have my entire portion.
Yeah.
Give me the portion that falleth unto me. So I need my whole portion. How about it? I need my whole portion. And then that being said, attempting to now minister to this word about the tithe and the offering, without bringing any condemnation to the people is where I need to stand. So what is this about, right? So the tithe is 1/10. You going to go to work now? We're going to be talking about.
Okay.
The tithe is 1/10. Everybody remember what I'm about to say? And you want to write it down, whatever.
Write it down.
First of all, God don't need no money. I said this yesterday. We don't give to God, but we give to people on behalf of God.
Yeah, that was good.
We give in his behalf. So I'm giving in the church in his behalf.
Right.
That simply means that whatever ministry that I am giving to must represent what I believe God is in my life.
Yes.
The church that you go to, everybody listen to me. The church that you attend must, in order for the tithe to work, the tithing system does not work. Now I'm fully aware that the tithing is in the Old Testament. We're going to deal with that too. And should it be instituted in the New Testament? That we're going to talk about that as well. So should we still be under the law of tithe? There are about two main commandments, chief commands that were not given to the New Testament church as it pertains to Old Testament living. Two chief. Number one, that were not given. Number one, when Jesus was talking about the way you should love your neighbor, and we're talking about the Sermon on the Mount. He starts saying, hey, if you murder somebody, he said, your law say, if you murder somebody, my law say, if you kill your brother in your heart, you already did it. He said, your law say, if you commit adultery. My law say, this is what Jesus said. Jesus said, my law say, hey, if you looked at that woman wrong, you committed adultery. You get what I'm saying? Okay, so Jesus did all that stuff, and he never talked about the Sabbath. Ouch. He never mentioned the Sabbath. My Sabbath friends, do not beat me up. I'm only in the scriptures. Jesus, during that time of scripture, I know we can go all over places, but I'm talking about during this time when he was talking about the reinstituting of the law being from the heart. Did not talk about the Sabbath.
Okay.
Did not talk about the Sabbath.
Okay.
Another thing he mentioned in the New Testament as a command or a demand was the tithe.
Okay.
It was not. It was mentioned, but not in the form of an instruction.
Okay.
It was not. So we're going to deal with, should the New Testament church still be under the law of tithe? That's what Creflo Dollar got in trouble for and all that stuff. We got Lloyd. Of course, he's still okay. Okay. And so we're going to deal with that. Okay, so again, when you look at the Old Testament, you have to look at the Old Testament with New Testament lens. We talked about that last week, or a couple weeks ago. Always look at the Old Testament through New Testament lens. Got it? Good. Tithe. You ready?
Yes.
So the tithe don't mean a tenth. Everybody, the tithe does not mean a tenth. I know it's what you think. It does not mean a tenth. You know what the tithe means? It means give a tenth or take a tenth. It doesn't mean 10%. Tithe does not mean 10%. Tithe means give a tenth or tax a tenth.
Explain that.
It's the operation of giving. It is not the number 10.
Oh, okay.
Everybody got it. So when you say the word tithe,
Pastor Avery said you're going to get in trouble. Too late. Yep.
Tithe means give a tenth or tax a tenth. Y'all go read the tithe. It doesn't mean just a tenth. It doesn't mean just 1/10. So when they break a thing down, it doesn't mean, people think the tithe means a tenth. No, the tithe means give a tenth or tax, take a tenth.
Okay.
When you force the tithe, you are under the law. When you giving, you are under a different mandate because it becomes free will.
Okay.
It's my part, my portion. The difference between the New Testament and the Old Testament is that in the New Testament, y'all listen to what I'm about to teach. Everybody listen to me. Tithing, buckle up, please. In the New Testament, God says, the land belongs to me. Old Testament, not the New Testament. Old Testament. The land belongs to me. The New Testament, you belong to me. Stop me when I'm not telling the truth. Old Testament, I feel preachy. The land belongs to me. The land belongs to me. I gave you the land. You take a portion from the land. New Testament, you belong to me. You belong to me. So the portion I want ain't from the land, it's from your heart. To God be the glory. To God be glory. Am I still in trouble, Dr. Avery? I'm trying to fix it up. In the Old Testament, God said, give from the land.
Wow.
In the New Testament, God said, give from your heart.
Wow.
As it is purpose in a man's heart.
Wow. Lord.
That's what the Bible said. This is what Paul said to the church of Corinth. Give and it is purposed in your heart. I am in Bible country.
Wow. That's serious.
I'm in Bible country.
From the land. From the heart.
That's the difference between the Old Testament and New Testament. So when you give from the land, your portion, your law, the external, God says, I got the land. In order for you to respect what I did and reverence and gratitude for what I gave you, give me portion of the land. Well, give the priest portion of the land in my behalf.
Right.
God said,
You mentioned, yeah.
in my behalf. That's what you do. New Testament, God says, you belong to me. I want you to give from your heart. Therefore, there is no cap on giving in the New Testament. So the tithe starts as just a start.
Wow.
To God, that's how you do it, everybody.
Wow.
Without no manipulation,
Yeah.
no number schemes, no anything. You give according to your heart, which means that if the Old Testament is a schoolmaster, it serves as a teacher, an elementary teacher, that I start with the 10th. But it can go as far as God purposed in my heart.
So it's still maintained with the 10th, but from a different aspect from your heart. Land, heart.
Land, heart.
Okay. 10th, still.
10th. If the 10th is where you need to start. If the 10th is where you need to start, because I'm learning the 10th from the Old Testament, from my Jewish family.
Right.
I'm learning what that means. So now either I'm going to be taxed or I'm going to give it.
Okay.
Which one are you? Now they let you know what kind of person you are.
Okay.
Do we have to ask you for it? Because the church should never beg, but don't say the church cannot ask, because Jesus did not mind asking. So if anybody's saying the church shouldn't ask and we under Jesus, I'm coming to let you know Jesus asks. Who did he ask? Woman, give me some water. He asked, go get me a donkey. He was able to ask. So Jesus asked.
Right.
Even when he was on the cross, what did he say? Give me some vinegar. I thirst. So don't say the church shouldn't ask. Jesus asked. The church shouldn't beg.
Okay. Good.
But if hearts are not right, now we begging and scheming and planning. And that's why it says, my concerns are becoming fears. The older I get, I am becoming fearful. And I'm like, I shouldn't be fearful. But I am becoming fearful. And I'm wondering, are my fears coming? Are my fears coming? Somebody calling and saying, somebody saying something. I know I'm gonna get in some trouble. Are my fears, I know I'm not the smartest cookie in the bunch here, but I know I got something. All my fears, I know, yeah. So all my fears is because I can see, everybody listen, I can always see the future. I always said I have an issue seeing where I am, but I can always see around the corner. And I said that. All my fears all my concerns come in fears is because my children are getting a little bit older. And what kind of church are we leaving them?
Right.
And that's why they become in fears a little bit. Right now, it used to be their concerns, we can handle it. But now I'm like, we're about to pass this thing to these kids getting, we're about to. And what are we leaving them?
And what?
And I don't want them to be a part of this. I don't want them to be gamed, schemed, played with, manipulated when it comes to money.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to fall into the manipulation game. And this is why I am developing the church the way I'm developing. So my son, I got 3 sons and a daughter. I do not want them falling into these manipulating games of emotions. Know that the church, God don't need money, but his work does.
Right. Amen.
And the power of God's work is that God said, y'all take care of the church so that we can offer the gospel to the world so the world won't have to pay for it.
Yes.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
The whole point is that Suzanne Nelson can come in and get it free. The whole point is the poor can come and get it. That's why the Bible said, buy without money, without milk and without wine. Come. But if we don't take care of, and that's the point.
Yes.
That's the point.
Yes.
Which now is making the church becoming a little worldly in order to take care of herself.
Yes. Yes.
That's my fear.
Yes. And then I heard you basically mentioned that, but can you talk more about, you said that the priest had to, of course, start working outside of the church.
Let's go.
In order to pay, because people were not supporting.
Let's go.
Those things.
So the reason, I chose to come from, the tithe is scattered all through the Old Testament and New Testament. In fact, Jesus talked about money more than he talked about any other subject. That's Jesus, y'all. It's Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow. Right?
And so it's Jesus didn't.
Yes, he did.
He didn't talk about money.
Jesus talking about money more than any other subject. Y'all just don't know what y'all looking at. That's something, right? Oh my God. Some 70 plus times in the Old Testament.
Okay.
So it's a lot.
Yeah.
It makes it.
Definitely didn't know it was 70.
70 in the Old Testament. 70 plus times.
Oh, yeah, Old Testament.
Old Testament is kind of, yeah.
Okay.
70 plus times in the Old Testament alone. I chose to come from Deuteronomy.
Right.
The reason I chose to come from Deuteronomy, everybody, because Deutero means two. The book of Deuteronomy should not have been written. I know I'm getting in trouble now. I might as well, because I feel like the book of Deuteronomy should not have been written. It was only written is because people didn't do what they're supposed to do the first time. So God had to say it again. The Pentateuch should not have been penta. It should have been quattro or quarter.
He said that's what Malachi 3 is about.
Yeah.
Priests were stealing because people weren't given the way they should.
Yes.
That's why he asked, will a man rob God?
Yes. Avery, to all those who are listening, he is right. He is right. And in the beginning of Malachi chapter 3, it starts with to the priests. It's right there. I mean, it's right there. It's right there. They were doing some stuff though. We won't get in that too. So I chose Deuteronomy because Deuteronomy was written. Deuteronomy, and I know I'm going to get in trouble, but Deuteronomy was the second time around. I get a second bite of the cherry. I get a second chance. So God is a God of another chance. Another reason I chose Deuteronomy is because when I go to the New Testament, I will be choosing 2 Corinthians.
Okay.
And I'm choosing 2 Corinthians in the New Testament is because when Paul told them to give, because they didn't do it the first time. So I'm marrying the two.
Okay. All right.
I'm marrying the two. Paul told the church of Corinth, y'all didn't do it the first time. I need y'all to do it again. He said the church of Philippi don't have as much as you guys have. I need y'all to pick up what you said you was going to do a year ago. Now do it now.
Right.
That's what he told you.
Yeah.
Pick up and do it now. Get it together now. So I'm marrying, I'm being theological, I'm being systematic, I'm putting those two together. But this is why I chose to come from Deuteronomy.
Okay.
I chose to come from Deuteronomy is because God says, but I didn't have enough time Sunday, of course. But as we move forward, so to those who will go to my Bible study, act like I didn't say it on the podcast and be like, wow, amen. So y'all give me that response I need. Like this. Deuteronomy should not have been written if man would have done their part the first time. So God says Deutero means two. Deuteronomy. I got to tell you the word again.
Wow.
Got to break it down again.
Wow.
How to handle money, how to handle marriage, how to handle the law, how to handle this, how to handle that. It's the fifth one.
Wow.
Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. So God said, before y'all go to the promised land, I got to tell y'all one more time. They was only like 1,000 miles away. They weren't that far away. They were not that far away.
Wow.
Let me see, 1,000 miles? No, I am wrong. No. There's no wow. 70 miles away.
Oh,
I
70.
apologize.
Yeah, because I remember you said it wasn't a long
it wasn't a long one. No, I said
venture.
1,000, 70 miles away. I don't know where 1,000 came from. I can't imagine. Well, whoever needs $1,000, Lord bless him with it in Jesus' name.
Or sow it into $1831 quarters.
I don't know where that number came from. They were only 70 miles away from the promised land. Not 1,000, 70 miles away from the promised land, and it took them 40 years for a 70-mile journey.
I remember you said it was short. It wasn't long.
70 miles. 70
miles.
That's it. You hear what I just said?
Yes.
40 years to go 70 miles.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like
70 miles.
Yeah, that's something, ain't it? Oh my God. So it's a 70-mile journey to get from one place to the next. It took them 40 years. So God said, hey, before y'all start approaching this, I got to tell y'all what to do one more time.
It's an hour car ride.
An hour car ride.
Wow. 40
1
years.
hour car ride. That's all it is on a car ride, y'all. Man, going at about 60 miles an hour, a little bit more than that. Man. Wow. All right, everybody ready?
Yeah.
I chose Deuteronomy. And when I chose Deuteronomy because it says where the money is going. So you wouldn't be manipulated to think that is that going where yes, now you know where the money is going. So where is the money going? Where is the money going? In the book of Deuteronomy, it said the money, number one, goes to the priest, where it goes to the house, the church. It goes to the priest, and then it goes to the poor. So those are the three places the money went. And it didn't start with that. It generally went to the priest.
Say that again.
So as the society grew, problems grew.
Right. Yeah.
And with any society. As society began to grow, advance, advance, then you get issues.
Right.
Same thing happened in the New Testament church.
Changes
and stuff like that. It's same thing happened to the New Testament church. As you grow, issues start to arise. It's part of it. The poor and the needy was not in the earliest part of the purpose for the tithe.
Okay.
They weren't. They came in. They you know what I'm saying? They was sort of introduced later on.
Right.
And as the tithe began to develop into what it is, to what it became at Israel's apex, it became like that because as the society began to grow, issues came up, and so let's dilly the money out different ways. Number one, the work, the building. Number two, the priest. And number three, the poor, the needy, or the Bible calls them the widow. That's who the money is supposed to go to. Split those three ways.
Right.
That's where it went. So I'm telling you.
But the initial was for the priest, period.
Priest, period. Yes. Those who dedicated them lives to the work. And the reason why is because the priests were the Levites. But all Levites weren't priests.
Correct.
Okay, so the priests were the Levites, but all Levites were not priests.
Right.
Got it?
Yes.
Good. So now to the priests that were, to the Levites that were priests, I'm saying right, to the Levites that were priests, yes, right? To the Levites that were priests. So the Levites was a people who did not have a portion of the land. So when it comes down to the land, and when it comes down to God blessing the people with the land, when they come down, okay, good. He said, Gad, you get a piece. Judah get a piece. Tribe of Benjamin get a piece. Everybody get a piece of the land. Levites, you get none.
Right.
You don't get none. Your job is to stay before the temple. Your job is to stay before the Lord. That's your part right there.
Right.
And for everybody else, y'all give 10 for them to support them.
Yes.
So the tithe came to support a people who had no portion in the land.
Yes.
They had no way, but they were supposed to do something. Take care of this and stay before the Lord. what happened? When people stopped giving, this is why you got to tell them again. When the people stopped giving, it caused the Levites to go to work.
Come on.
And when the Levites went to work, the place that held that institution intact began to fall.
Wow. Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
All of a sudden, when we need a word,
Yeah.
rev under a car.
He busy. Yeah.
He putting the transmission in.
You got overtime.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He putting tires on. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, when we need, you know what I'm saying? Now when we need somebody, you get what I'm saying? Now when we need somebody to go to the hospital.
Yes.
When you need somebody to go to jail, no one's available. Why? Well, it wasn't available because now they're doing hell. You know what I'm saying? The prophet is doing hell and nails to make money.
Yes.
She's still prophesying to the person.
Yes.
But she need to be over there. God,
Ooh,
I'm
this
serious.
Is yeah.
This is it.
It's real. It's real. Wow. Look at today.
Yeah. Look at today.
Yeah. Side hustles.
Look at today.
Yeah.
You're now finding full ministers now are bivocational. Most pastors are bivocational. And a lot of pastors are bivocational because we don't have our entire quarter. We only know a quarter going to do it. But God knows only a quarter is going to do it. And if the whole church will never be a time where the whole church tithe. Right. It's not happening. And if it does happen, if some of y'all churches are like that, more than a quarter tithe, and I'm not talking about every now and then, I'm talking about consistently and faithfully.
Right.
Yes.
then to God be glory for the grace on your life. Mm-hmm. To God be the glory for the grace that's on your life. Mm. But to those, the general condition, the general consensus, I'm not making a blanket. Well, I'm making a blanket statement, but I'm not making a blanket statement. But to the general consensus, this is what we're looking at.
Wow.
Well, God said, okay, I got to get everybody that I need to get, so this is going to stay in place.
Okay.
Go for it. You got a question?
I can do it when you're done. Okay.
I'm pausing.
All right. So then wouldn't it make sense to, like, for the houses that's not necessarily taken care of, for them to set aside whatever that need is for the priests of the house or for the Levites, or those that are serving? Wouldn't it make sense for that to be carved out for them, and then it be? I mean, of course, there are other things now that, obviously have to be taken care of. But would that not be the?
And organizations, we talk back organizations, they do.
Okay.
They
carve it out and they.
You get a package.
So it's a part of the. Oh, okay. So people actually know, like, this is this.
This is the package.
Oh, okay.
That's why. Yes.
Okay.
So it's already go ahead. Got comment. Yeah, they do that all the time. I'm talking about these small independent churches.
Now that the Levites are gone, there's no need for tithe.
Who said that?
Pastor Avery. We are priests not after the logistical priesthood. Mm-hmm. We are priests according to Melchizedek.
Yes. We are priests we're not a priest according to the law. But I said it earlier that the law was not, I said it earlier that the law of tithe was not given to the New Testament church. So I said it earlier. So yes, he is given redress to what I said earlier.
Now that the Levites are gone,
now the Levites are gone. Yes. Well. We're saying that the Levites are gone, and right, the Levites are gone. So
because they weren't being.
No, the Levites are gone.
I mean, I'm saying, go ahead.
The body of, now we're talking about the body of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And Levites belong to Israel.
Right,
now it's the world now.
Yeah.
So we're talking about a Christian system.
Right. Okay.
In a Christian system, there is no, Levites.
Okay.
In a Christian, we use the word.
Right.
We like
to
play
know
with
that
terms.
it's
Yeah. So with the widespreading of Christianity, came the reemergence. What I call it reemerging? No, the emergence, if I want to use that word, the rise of something else.
Okay.
And so now there became apostles, pastors, bishops, priests. They come those people right there, right? Those people right there to come to help lead the body of Christ. But that word Levite, no, it's no longer there. No, but couldn't be there because you were dealing with people that was. Now the faith is for people that was outside of the tract of Israel.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
So it wouldn't be there anyway. So yeah, so he is correct.
Okay.
So now, but I'm not getting in trouble with him. I'm trying to be in the middle, man. I'm trying my best. I'm not want to straddle the fence, but oh my God, I'm trying to balance this thing. Okay. And so that's what happened in the Old Testament. And so I believe that if we could see what happened in the Old Testament, we'll begin to get a better understanding of how we should do this thing in the New Testament. And if we don't know how, at least we should know why.
Right.
One, we got to know one or the other. We got to know how, we got to know why. And we have to understand, how did it get to where we are today? What happened?
Yeah, what happened?
What happened? Somewhere along the line, need turned to greed. What happened? Hence, I said earlier, we give in behalf of God. So whatever you believe about God should be represented in the leadership of your church.
Yes.
So if you believe God is a healer, is your church in the ministry of healing?
Mm-hmm.
If you believe God is take care of the poor, does your church take care of the poor?
Yes.
So my question is to everybody, what is your personal belief about God? You should have a personal belief about God. He is all.
Yes.
But there are some things it should really, touch your heart. And I believe God is whoever he was to you, whoever he is to you. Well, then that has to be represented in the leadership.
Right.
Because that's what you have to that's what you're supposed to support.
Absolutely.
So the leadership, the ministry, is now representing who I believe God is to me. I can see that in the actions of my ministry.
Yes.
I believe that God. So if you believe that God loves children, then your church should have a beautiful children's ministry.
Yeah. Definitely.
If you believe, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you believe God is global, then your church should have something in it. If you believe, you know what I'm saying? That is international. If you believe God loves the poor and the hungry, then your church should be given to that.
Do all churches provide that information? Like, is that, do they, like, I know that here, like, it's broken down, like, this is for this is for that, like, this is for this, all these different, the breakdowns of where, everything
money goes.
And even with the children's ministry and things like that, like, just the details, is that free knowledge?
It should be.
It should be.
It's transparent. It should be. I'm not saying it is, but it should be. Because money is you're volunteering, you're giving. It's a donation.
Right.
So yes, those things should be on the forefront, on the bylaws, and within the structure.
Most people probably don't ask about it either, right?
But this is our job to. Part of my assignment is to show people this is why.
Okay.
This is why you should give. And maybe and to some people, is this why you're not giving? Because you don't see what you believe God is to you, or who you believe God is in your life.
Right.
You don't see that being played out in your ministry.
Right.
So is that causing you not to give?
Right.
Is that causing you saying, I ain't giving them nothing? But if I can see the hand of God extended through the life of my ministry, yes, I got to support that because it marries the two.
Yeah.
And that's my point. That's that from God to you in your behalf, which becomes an angle, a right angle, a cure, accurate, righteous.
And those that do see it, it's like, what's up?
And
what's going on?
now you're talking about the hearts.
Yeah.
Those
like
who do see it. You see it.
But you choose to turn the other cheek. It's like
now your heart is being measured.
Okay.
So that's why it came from Deuteronomy, chapter number, the Deuteronomy, I think it was 14, right? Yes. That's why it came from Deuteronomy 14. I chose Deuteronomy because Deuteronomy and Anthony Fliggins, my little studies, should not have been written. But it had to be written because people didn't do it the first time. So God said, I got to talk again.
Let me say it one more time.
Let me tell you one more time.
Those in the back.
And then you go to the Corinthians. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
You go to that, you go to them, and that's where we can be going. So we can be bouncing back from Old and New Testament. We won't be chronologically preaching this.
Right.
Because if I was chronologically preaching, I would have to take it from Abraham and Melchizedek.
Okay.
I would have to take it from that point.
during the giving of the 10th. And there was no real reason why he gave a 10th. We don't know why not a 15th or a 20th, why he gave a 10th. We don't know. It's not written. Abraham did it. I believe Jacob did it. And we just don't know why they gave a 10th.
Right.
You know, but we do know we do know in extra biblical studies, extra canonical studies, that other tribes, nations, other cultures and systems, Babylonians, the Assyrians, all of them dealt with the 10th of something. The taxing being a 10th. Everybody dealt with the 10th of something. And so now we're under belief that in old times the 10th was easy to count because 10 fingers, 10 toes.
Right.
So it was just easier for the old world to count.
Yeah. Makes sense.
You know, it just makes sense. You know, it just made sense. So in those studies, it was simple.
Yeah.
It was simple. And so, yeah.
Yeah. It just made sense.
It just made sense.
And affordable.
To use and then the 10th.
Kinda. Yeah.
And then you got 10 commandments.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you see a lot of 10s in the Old Testament scripture, a lot of 10s of everything else, you know. And so it was just a simple way of us, you know, doing that act and that response of giving. And so, yeah. So I could go into the problems that we have right now, but we got so many problems today with this that it's, you know, that it's just hard to really, and I'm making sure that I am not placing myself. There's something I have to do too, and that's all my ministers that are listening. We should not go where we have not been. And that is placing our mouths on the mega church.
Right.
Because some of you don't know what a $20,000, $50,000, $60,000 offering look like every Sunday. You have no idea. $125,000, $300,000. Yeah. And like every Sunday, what would you do? So you don't know. You know what I'm saying? You know, you barely, you know, you're trying to count that 1,200, that 2,200. You know, you try to squeeze that between and split that and all that. So you don't know what that look like, and you don't know what you would do in that situation. Now, we can talk about it as much as we want to.
Right.
But until you get that kind of money in your hands consistently every Sunday.
Right.
I'm not sure how. So I'm not going to mention.
And the upkeep and
all that stuff. Come on. That's a lot. That's a lot. Staff and all the stuff you got to pay and all that. So I am going to stay out of that. I'm going to stay where I am. And I'm going to minister to who God gave me.
Right.
But I will not be talking about the Jakes and the Creflos and the new births and the this and those. I will not be discussing that because I'm not there.
Right.
I'm not there.
Right.
But I am here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stay honest to the teaching. And we're going to bless them.
And it gives people a better understanding of what they.
God.
That's the question. I don't even know why I'm getting. I don't even know what is all this for.
Oh, now you know. We gonna
write it down. Court vision. Every Sunday and Wednesday.
One more point. Then you got some questions. So we got some any questions.
I'm okay.
One more.
I don't think we have any
questions.
Here.
Okay. So one more, and another reason for the giving of the tithe, everybody, because the tithe was supposed to represent, or it's supposed to be a sign of thanksgiving that God is actually doing something in your world outside of the four walls. So I am bringing a testament of my tangible mark of God. God has placed a hand or a mark on my tangible life. God is a part of my material. And I'm bringing a piece of that in honor of the material blessing that's on my life. So I am saying God has blessed me with the job, blessed me with home, blessed me with this, blessed me with career, blessed me with that, blah, 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 blah. And a piece of this saying God works outside of my four walls, aka the four walls of the church. So I'm bringing my outside in. I'm bringing something in because you would not know how much I make or how much, you won't, nobody knows these things. Yeah. But you all know I'm doing something.
Oh, yeah.
And the hand of God is on my life. And then the teaching is helping your life outside of this.
Yes.
Therefore, the increase of that should come back.
Absolutely.
That's what it is.
Absolutely.
That's what that is.
Absolutely.
So when y'all bringing money in, what y'all bringing in is you're bringing in the Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
I'm bringing my gratitude in. That's what it is. And I'm going to say it again, is in behalf of, it's not, God don't need it. But we do it in behalf of.
Yes.
And so we give.
Absolutely.
So there would be no problem with this if the church you attended
the church you're in membership of, does that church represent?
Yes.
This would not be a question. This is
Absolutely.
only a question if you can't see God, what you believe about God, in what you see from the pulpit.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
So when I can see it, I say, okay, I can marry the two.
I don't know if selfish, if someone that, I don't want to call people selfish, but I don't know if people that are, or just, I guess, ignorant to not even just the workings, because I think that some people can see it when they think about it, like, oh yeah, you know what, my church is doing that, or my church is doing that. It's like something that just repels people from wanting to give to the church just in general or whatever. I don't know if it, like, I'm that for sure, yes, but like for those that kind of do see, like, you know, when they think about, like, you know what, my church is giving to this, they are healing ministry, they are this, they are that, it's like, but there's still something there that like blocks them from whatever, like it's a little something more to that, like,
yeah, and I know that's always going to be.
Okay.
We know that.
Yeah.
You know, we may not convince them.
Yeah.
But to those who are on the cuffs, who saying, you know, and another part of my job is to make sure that those who are giving sparingly should begin to give consistently.
Say that again.
Those who are giving sparingly, so there are some that do give, but they only give here and there. They give at their convenience.
Yes.
And I need people to be principle givers.
Consistent givers.
Consistent. Be a principle giver. Give out of principle.
Yeah.
Not out of convenience.
Yeah, that's good.
Not out of convenience.
Not out of convenience.
Out of principle.
Out of principle.
And watch how your life begin to unfold. I often tell my church, what you want to do is write down what you have right now, and if you're not giving. Just write down what you have right now, if you're not giving. Give 3 months, and then tell me what it looks like. Try them, prove them. Only scripture that says prove me. Only one. It's just 3 months. Just consistently give 3 months and see if your life is a little bit different. Just do it 3 months. Just give me 90 days.
Absolutely.
Give God 90 days.
Give God 90 days.
Come on, he can do it in 7, but give him 90. You know, do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Tonight.
saying? And that's where we are. My okay, whatever we got, we done with this one. I got a lot. I got. It's a lot. We're gonna be. So we're gonna be talking. We're gonna be talking about this all month.
Yeah.
All month long. So we're going to get into the Melchizedek and Abraham and the giving of the wine and the bread and what does it mean and I gave a statement of what bread actually meant.
Yeah, it was interesting.
It was interesting,
I never
right?
heard of that.
I can't wait till we get our walls here. I'm gonna show people this is what I'm like. Lord, I'm praying. Yeah. So when you need bread, so the kneading of bread. I was talking to Deshawn Sunday. Sunday, I was saying, she said, "Oh yeah, because when you do need bread, it does pull the dirt. So kneading bread." Pull the dirt off of your hands. It was a way of cleaning your hands after you cook or when you wanted to clean the house. So the woman is the leader of the house or the leader of the bread. But Lord of the loaf or the head of the loaf means Lord. The word Lord is feminine. It's not masculine. The word Lord is feminine. The word Lord actually comes from the word loaf.
Okay.
The woman who needs the bread. Hands are clean. So she cleans her hands through the kneading of the bread. So some of the dirt and the debris that's in the house actually gets in the bread.
Wow.
All part of the fabric. And when she would clean the house, sometimes she would clean the house with dough. So now you get an understanding of what the bread meant. What it meant to bake bread. What did it mean? We have to go into the Genesis narrative. Because bread was not mentioned until the fall.
Right.
Y'all go read your Bibles. Bread was mentioned during the fall. You're going to work in this bread. Before the fall, fruit.
Right.
After the fall, bread.
Yeah. Yes.
What does it mean? What does bread mean, everybody? Everybody, why is it that the scripture does not give us the word bread until the fall? Fall bread. Before the fall, y'all going to eat, but you're going to eat from the fruit of the tree. After the fall, you're going to eat bread, something that you're going to have to work with. Process.
Wow.
Something that you would have to do.
Yeah, work.
Opposed to the land doing it. And so we're going to go through all those things when you're dealing with the tithe. But tithe don't mean just a tenth. It means give a tenth or take a tenth.
Carlos just said 10 years now and I'm balling. I know that's right. Balling.
Tithe means give a tenth or take a tenth.
Yes.
And I would rather give than to be forced or to be taxed.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Mm-hmm. And when we come to that point, this is my issue with my issue why I'm teaching the way I'm teaching. It's because when you scare the people to give, it's a sign of being forced.
Mm-hmm.
When I got to say, if you don't give, you're gonna be cursed with a curse. I don't want to bring up the curse. I don't want to. Yes, it's in the scripture, but I just don't want to bring up the curse.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Especially when we're not under the law. I don't want to bring up the curse. Paul did not curse them. Paul just said, listen, Corinth. Now look.
Listen here.
Now look. You know. I had to do I may have to do my own little commentary.
It'll be interesting.
On all the scriptures. On every book. I may do a commentary on every book. But the commentary gonna be on every book, Ted, would be like it would be a down to earth commentary.
Yeah.
Like just a down to earth commentary. Now look. I like that one. Now look, that's what it might be.
That's good.
It's just a commentary, what I believe about these books are. Like I believe the book of Deuteronomy should not have been written because you would never read that. But now look, I was reading Corinth and I was like, what is up with Corinth? What God tried? What was Paul telling to Corinth? And guess who Corinth were? People that was going too far or didn't go far enough. And that's who Corinth was for. People that was either lethargic or extreme.
Exactly.
That's what the book was for, Corinth. See how I'm just
good.
How do I know? And how do I know this? Because they was getting drunk during communion. Y'all going too far.
Too far, or not
far enough. When it's time to speak in tongues, everybody speaking in tongues. He said, hold up, y'all. Hold up now. Hold up. Let somebody interpret.
Wow.
Y'all going too far.
Just couldn't make the mark.
You couldn't do it. When it's time for them to choose a pastor, they had like one church with 4 pastors. Some say y'all belong to Cephas, some say y'all belong to Jesus, some y'all belong to this. They would just keep on going. That was the church. They were the people that went too far. Or when it came to give, they didn't go far enough.
See, it's good.
So that's why I'm gonna teach you on the commentary on Corinth.
You can see that.
You can see that, right?
Yeah, like the book on the side of you.
Yeah. Look. You're going too far.
Y'all look out for that.
Y'all going. I'm going to do my own commentary.
It's a couple months.
On each book. Just on a down to earth level, because we Africans and black people are magical. Europeans are mystical.
Okay.
Africans are magical. Europeans are mystical. And so the mysticism of it removes us from the reality of they just normal people. And black folk are so magical. We just see the spooky and everything. Like we so, ooh, you know what I'm saying? We're just black girl magic. Black people magical. Our European family is mystical. So we add this element to the spiritual, and before we know it, we lose the actual natural. And I may want to bring a natural approach to this thing to let us know, hey, these were real people. We had real problems, real fears. They were like us. And so I might have to find the usness in these folks, so we just don't be so the periphery of God's word.
Yes.
We get like that. I do it too sometimes. I like to do that too. Ooh, I like to do that too sometimes. Because we magical, right? We like to do it. I like to do all that stuff. I get with it. I like it. And black people just love big words.
We like them. Gotta Google it real quick.
Oh,
what does that mean?
God, we love big words.
What does that mean?
Sometimes I'll be in church and I'll be like, I said, he said the word wrong. I heard a man said the historicity of God's word. And everybody go, I said it's historicity. but I know y'all don't know that, but you just love the way it sounds. I hear this all the time.
There are different pronunciations.
It's not historicity, Tim.
It's not historicity.
It's historicity.
But there are some of them that kind of be like, tomato.
Oh my God, Tim.
Historicity.
Oh my! And so when you hear all these things, I'm like, I know people do it in church all the time, and all the time. And I'm looking around like, y'all can't know what they ain't talking about. And they stand up, and I see pastors and young pastors with their family, I'm doing this. Like, y'all sit down, man. You can't.
I think everyone does it.
But you don't know what he's talking about.
I think everyone does it sometimes. It's just happens.
And I just sit there, just look at him like,
Sometimes it's not on purpose.
I'm looking at the whole church like, this don't make no sense. Like, y'all can't know what he's talking about. Because, okay, anyway, that's another subject. That's not everybody even tell. I
think a lot of people do it. I mean, sometimes even just speeding over your words. You know.
They be like,
Because they know what they mean. Some of them. They know what they mean a little bit. Like, oh, okay, yeah. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I know what you mean. Not going to be too hard on you. I know what you mean.
And you're coming, and it's coming from somebody who messes up all the pronouns, who makes he's, I's, and we's. I do it all the time. I'm talking so fast. That I just, like, oh my God. So I'm not, but sometimes.
Now, if you use the wrong term in that, you know what I mean? If you're using the wrong word, that's different.
You using it. My issue is that I guess I'm not being fair.
No.
Because you're not using it in the right context.
Yeah, if you're using it in the wrong context.
Well, we don't know they're using it in the wrong context. That's what my issue. Like, that don't belong there. Or they talk about something
they are using it in the wrong context.
A lot of people do.
Okay, so that's what,
A lot of them do. But I do know they didn't read it.
Okay.
They heard it.
Okay.
The phraseology is something that they heard.
Okay.
And because I study it, I even know what books they were reading, where they got it from.
Okay.
And I'm like, I got it from that, but you read one paragraph, you didn't read the rest of it.
Okay.
You read one portion, you didn't read the rest.
Mm-hmm.
You got to keep reading.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to think about what you read.
Mm-hmm.
You got to examine it.
Mm-hmm.
Investigate.
Absolutely.
I know you're sounding good, and you're like,
Sounds
wow.
Good. Sounds really good
I
sometimes.
got that Chat GPT, that Nova.
I knew you was going to say that.
You get that Nova, that Chat GPT. Oh, my God. Write y'all the sermon. Write y'all the whole sermon.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's real now. It's like,
Oh. And so, yeah.
Put it in there.
Call me old school. Anyway, we have to be givers. Mm-hmm. And if you give, it'll be given. Mm-hmm. I just believe in the act of giving. So this should not be hard for me. But I tell you one thing. Mm-hmm. So I'm pastoring since I was 29. Mm-hmm. I'm 45.
Okay.
16 years, right?
Yeah, 16 years.
This is the first time in 16 years I felt compelled to discuss this because I never had an issue with people giving. Never.
Okay.
Ever. You hear what I said?
We
raise offering, we raise them and get out of there. And I'm like, hey, y'all, I need 10 of y'all to do. You're like, I never had to do that over and over and over again. I just raise offering and walk out the door. We never had to do that. Now I have to compel people. I have to really ask, hey, the church is moving. We need help. We need y'all to be consistent. So I find myself doing this. Now, and I don't mind asking because I know where it's going. And I'm not telling people where it's going. But I find myself having to do this more than, and if the church is doing what it needs to do by you, and if you are developing, growing, and learning, then why is this an issue?
Right.
What are we doing? What spirit is this? What's taking over? What do I need to, so maybe let the teacher teach.
Yeah, let the teacher teach.
And I'm going to go ahead and teach it and let the chips fall where they may.
I would have to ask you then, I know we're finishing up, what the minister said in regards to it looks like everything, you know what I'm saying, is together. Like, is that what's happening? Like, if in 16 years you're saying that this is the first year?
Yeah, I never had to do this. Talk to the OGs. They didn't.
Okay.
We never had no.
I'm not disbelieving what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, but if that's what's happening now, like, is it because of what people believe that they see? You know what I'm saying? Is that what really should be addressed? One of the things? Like, are you seeing it and it's like not realizing that this costs?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like basically what he's saying. Like, I mean, you look like you're straight, so
yeah,
keep it in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, well, that's not good.
It's not. That's why I said this is concerning.
This is not good.
So yeah, that's what I meant.
You do it long enough to make it look good.
Yeah, it looks. Yeah,
you do it,
and
long
it
enough
should get better.
Yeah.
Better. It should get better, but that doesn't mean that you're not needed.
And we put together a whole financial plan.
Yeah.
Like we got literally like a financial
and it's excellent,
plan.
actually.
You hear what I said? I mean a plan.
Oh, that you like.
Huh? We said?
I said
Yeah.
The
A whole financial plan for
Mm.
the church. And we when we unfolded, it was rough for like 3 months. I'm like, hold on, it's gonna work. Everything was rough in the beginning.
Excellent.
And then after about 6 months, the plan started working.
Yeah.
And we got a whole plan, y'all. We got a complete
plan that will work for you.
work. And so we're gonna share it. We're gonna share it when we got a few kinks.
What do we call it? We called it at that time.
Kingdom Partnership.
Yes, that's what I'm
Not
talking
the
about.
Kingdom Partnership. Go
It
ahead.
is Kingdom Partnership,
Okay.
but it was remember the Affordable Care Act? We call Affordable Tithing Act. Affordable Tithing something.
I forgot what it was called.
It's on the website.
Oh, okay.
Affordable Tithing something, but it was like because of the Affordable Care Act, it was like all in there. It's cool. It's great.
So yeah, we have a whole plan, and we're gonna unveil it, unfold it.
Come
And it's
on.
gonna bless people, so people that we will be able to have. And I did not want. I did not want the vision of the ministry to be, no matter what size the church is, the size of the church should not dictate the move of the ministry.
Yes.
And I did not want the vision of the ministry to be predicated upon the donations of people.
Right.
I didn't want the vision to be predicated upon or on
The donations.
the donations of people.
Right. Or people's emotionalism, or if they give and don't give. How
Not
could you even run anything based? You couldn't even.
That's it, but that's how it go. So some things that we want to do never happen
Yeah.
because it just didn't come in.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But I did not want that. So how do I develop a system, and how long does this system take? I even know how long it takes to unfold. This won't be an overnight thing. So we're working on this. We're doing it. I am excited, and we moving forward, letting the Lord have His way.
Absolutely.
We are actually in the works right now, and so I'm finished here. We got a lot to talk about. So Wednesday night we're going to deal with Wednesday night on the Bible study. We're going to come from the book of Genesis, dealing with Melchizedek and Abraham.
Yeah.
We're going to deal with that and what it means to give and how he gave the spoils from the spoils of war. And so we're going to deal with that.
Okay.
We're going to deal with that that moment and what that moment meant. And it's when the fathers and priests meet, when two heads meet.
Okay.
Again, taking it from a different perspective, but the meeting of two heads.
Okay.
And then the relationship when leader meet leader.
Wow.
The Lord said to my Lord. I'm trying to help. I'm not trying to preach to somebody, but that's what you're watching. And so, and I think that so we have to learn how to preach. We have to. I don't want to say learn, but I would employ my ministers to preach beyond characters. Preach the spirit of a person, not the character. You're always preaching characters. But they are principles and they principalities. You look at character and you stay within the mode of the character.
Wow. And not the spirit.
And not the spirits that are. So now what you meet is leader meet leader. Head meet head.
Okay.
Ruler meet ruler. Lord meet Lord.
Master meet master.
Master meet master. And now you can know money from a different place.
Exactly.
Now I'm coming from a different area now. Now I'm coming that when I'm giving to what I recognize in me.
Amen.
I can see that in me. I can see my son, my daughter. Oh man, let's go. That's what y'all were looking at when Melchizedek met Abraham, or Abraham met Melchizedek. You starts two officials meeting. Yes. And this is how leadership handle each other when they meet. This is what glory does when it meets.
Absolutely.
This is when the head meets the head. To God be glory. Yes. Now how do we relate?
Yes. Exactly.
The giving lets you know who you are. It doesn't just dictate where we're going. I got a plan.
Exactly.
Now I'm going to learn who you are. I know who I am. Yes. Oh, so you the kind of person that think lights stay on for free. You the kind of person. Now I know who you are.
Right. Now I know who left the water running.
Now we know who left the water running.
Left the air on.
What's going on with them?
Cut that off.
It tells us who you are. To God be the glory. To God be glory.
Let me have drunk waters.
And then that's the same person that want to tell you, well, I know I'm this. I know I'm
right,
that. I'm all this. I'm all that. Wait a minute. Your giving lets us know.
You're giving
who you are.
Oh, Lord.
Who you are. I don't get it but who are you? And if you feel that way about them, then why are you there?
Why are you there?
And that's my Sunday sermon.
Point. I can't wait for Sunday. What you say?
Commit or resign.
Or resign. My mom was over the first 2 minutes like,
commit or resign. There.
Commit or resign.
Don't keep playing. Commit or resign. And sometimes you got to do that to certain people to let you know, where are you in this? And don't let people reside around you who won't commit to your cause. This message will not just be about church people and joining the church. It's not that. It's not about membership and attendees. I said there was a difference. Yeah. It's not, y'all think it's going to be about that. It will not just be about that. But it will be about how you allow people to handle you in your own personal space.
Yes, wow.
Commit to who I am.
Yes.
Or leave me alone.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, because I know who I am.
Yeah.
Don't treat me
as you know.
As you know.
You know.
Or you don't.
Or you don't.
Or you want to play.
Right.
And that's when you got to resign. Yeah, you got to resign. You got to go. I get it. You that person. So we going to talk Sunday. Commit or resign.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, you want to put another, if you want to put a ring on it. Commit or resign.
Commit or resign. If you like it, then you should have. This really, this is a lot.
Oh my
really need to be in this
goodness! Yes, I know some people only here for a season, but commit to that season.
Yes, commit to it.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you. Put your name on the roll for 10 years.
Grow up.
But I know some people are here for a moment. I know people here to learn and grow. I know people here for a certain period of time. But while I'm here and I'm enjoying it.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And I'm benefiting from it.
Benefiting from it. Oh my God. We're gonna deal with that. We're gonna deal with what else we're gonna deal with here? We're gonna deal with the people that are dedicated their lives to the church, the musicians, and why we pay musicians and praise and worship leaders and all that. Why where the money go at and what's that all about? We're gonna deal with
talked about that.
We're gonna deal with all of that. We're gonna deal with the whole. I'm gonna take a month. I'm going to unfold this.
It's going to be interesting.
Yes. I'm telling my musicians and everybody else, make sure that if you want to be treated fair, no, you're coming to a body of Christ. No, you're coming to work in the church. There's a way you conduct yourself in the park. There's a way you conduct yourself in church.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Period.
Now, how do you treat yourself? How do you view yourself? Why you're walking in? Don't remember now. You got to look at me, but I got to look at you.
Yes.
So when you
people got to look at you too.
Yeah, and people got to look at you too. So when you walk in that door, whatever size the church is, when you walk in that door and you come to do a job, you have to know that your appearance is part of that job. Because that's what I see first. Yes. Yes. That's part of it. How you handle yourself. Exactly. And I am going to. You're asking people to treat you the way you treat yourself. So if you walk in church like you just got out of bed, you didn't brush your teeth, you didn't comb your hair, you got crust in your eyes, and then you want top dollar. Yeah. Why? Who? Not gonna happen. What's gonna do? What you mean? Yeah. No, we're gonna crunch it up and we're gonna say, well, you really don't care. Right. Yeah. Because you're acting like that. Conduct yourself. Adjust your conduct. and start becoming what you want. Become first.
Would you really walk into your place of employment like that?
Yeah, I think they do.
Well, no, depending on what the job is, I guess it would depend. But
Then get mad when you get paid late and when they don't. Then you want to catch your attitude. Wait a minute. You cannot.
No.
You have to have where is your level of respect?
Where's your respect? And
that comes from, and most of those things comes from, and this is my, and I have to leave on this point here because I go too far. And that's why I want to leave here before I go too far.
Okay.
That comes from, that attitude comes from knowing too much about the pastor.
Really?
Yes. When you know stuff about the pastor, you act in a certain way in accordance. You act a certain way.
When you say know too much
you
about
know
the pastor.
secrets, because musicians walk with pastors a lot.
Okay.
Sometimes our musicians are our adjutants. They go with us all the time. So you know the pastor's secrets. You know what the pastor's doing behind the scene. You know what they have. You know how they live. You know what they do. You know all these things about them. And so you looking like, man.
Is it like that?
Is it like that? Oh, my God, it's like that.
Or is it like I dare you say something because I know too much about you?
No, it's just like, you know.
Which one is it?
It's like, yeah, I know you.
I know you.
And so now, you know, familiarity breed contempt. I ain't got to, it's just him.
Yeah, that's a list of,
Yeah, it's just him.
maturity thing then.
Yeah, it's a maturity thing. Or it's just her. It's just them. Oh, I know what they do. I know where they go when they leave church. So so now you bringing in their secrets of what's behind the scene.
Can't handle
on the scene. And now all of a sudden, again, there's a level of unprofessionalism in what you're doing.
Right.
And now when it's time to process money and finances, all of a sudden that becomes unprofessional as well.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing. And we got to learn how to respect each other as young people.
Absolutely.
And as elders.
Absolutely.
As ministers, as leaders, and there's a way we got to handle ourselves.
Yes.
And so we're going to discuss that too. And it's in the Bible. What I just said is in the scripture.
Okay.
It's in the scripture. All right. That's it.
Okay.
All right.
So if you want to donate to Libba.
Donate Libba. Okay, so Libba, we changed the we got some changes. We got some changes. So it is not Join Libba 23, it's Join Libba Now.
Yes. Join Libba Now.
Join Libba Now. That's right. We got some changes. We made some changes. We're doing some things behind the scenes to make it better, more efficient. We make it better. We're doing it so people can give effectively. Yeah. So Join Libba Now. We are asking $20 a month. Tickets will be ready. We are getting ready for our tickets. That's right. Next month, tickets will be ready. Tickets will be ready next month. $150 for these tickets. They'll be ready next month. We're going to make it easy. We're going to make it efficient for you, sufficient. You know, we're going to do all those things so you can be a blessing. I'll be calling out some of my family, my friends, so we can all do this together. But we are blessing people. That's right. We are blessing people. We are blessed to be a blessing.
Blessed to be blessed.
So Join Libba Now. Cash App, $, Join Libba Now. $20 a month, everybody. $20 a month is what we're asking for. Oh, my God, the cause is beautiful. We are blessing young entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
You know what an entrepreneur means?
Break it up. Tell us.
Enter into an adventure.
Oh.
Entrepreneur.
That's
I'm going into an adventure.
Going into an adventure.
That's what an entrepreneur is.
It sure is.
It is into an adventure. That's what this is where an entrepreneur is, everybody. And so it shows an adventure.
Yes. What an adventure.
What an adventure. So we want to help somebody make this journey a little bit easy, a little doable, you know, flexible. You know, take some of the stress and pain off.
Weight off a little bit.
Take a little weight off, thank you.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're doing. This year number 3.
Yes.
We're gonna do this thing big. Love y'all. God bless. We got a lot of talking to do this month.
A lot.
Let's do it.
Quite a bit. Listen, thank you all for tuning in to this episode of Pastor Anthony Said. Listen, this episode will be available at midnight. All new episodes are available every Tuesday. We are your spiritual podcast station, and we just brought you the uncut, unblocked, and unscripted. This is the only place in the podcast universe giving you a balanced approach and a look at the other side, everything from A to Z. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you chose to spend it with us right here on Pastor Anthony Said, and we love you for it.